My name is Lewis Lee from All Ends Media, and this is Playing in Traffic, where we hang out and talk about cars and anything that you can put gas in. So feel free to reach out to us in the comment section, and we may answer your question and we may not. It all depends if we can see it. What's up, fellas?
Hey, Lewis, we're hitting that 9 o'clock post.
Yeah.
What's going on, Lou? What's going on, Ray?
Oh, very good. Everything is good. Good.
What are you working on, Jim? You got anything good back there?
I've been testing and racing the drag car last couple of weekends, and just trying to figure stuff out because between the electronics and keeping the car straight, I mean, you sit there and you're just hitting and you're putting so much power to the car. If you go straight, it's great, but if it goes this way or that way, you're crashing big time.
Yeah.
So trying to figure all that stuff out.
I think that goes for real cars too.
Yeah, but at least with the radio control cars, you don't feel it.
Yeah. You don't get shook up.
Yeah, car goes rolling off into the thing, you just pick it up, put it back on the wheels, and off you go. As long as you didn't break anything.
I tell you, man, you get a lot of money in those. You feel like it hit you.
Yeah.
Yep. So, Ray, who'd you have on the show this week?
We didn't have a guest on Sunday. I thought I was going to have Tony D'Agostino from Tony's Parts because I talked to him. It ends up he was at Carlisle. So I kind of lost track of that whole thing. I did speak with him during the week, and I'm going to get him on the show, and then I want to pitch this show to him as well, get him on here too.
Okay, great.
Because we've had him on before. He's a great guest. The guy, he sells Mopar parts.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing it for years, and he's kind of a semi-regular on Mark Warman's show on Graveyard
Cars. I was going to say we should have Dave Reyes on at the same time, but that might not work out.
Yeah, it might not work out. Yeah. Well, I don't think that Dave and Tony have any kind of a bad history.
Yeah.
Dave and Mark probably do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll hold off on that one.
Yeah.
But I've been reaching out to some celebrities for interviews at SEMA. And I think it's going to be pretty good.
Oh, I'm sure you'll have them lined up like out the door.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on some dates to confirm dates. So we're going to be at Jack's place, Truly. How do you say it? Truly's.
Truly, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be at his booth, and it's going to be exciting, man. I'm getting real excited now because people are really hyped up to come.
Yeah.
Come to the booth. So he gave me some slots every day, 3 to 4 every day. So things will start to wind down, and I can get a couple celebrities there. It's going to be pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, Jack's he's really working for us, man. It's pretty good, pretty cool.
Where are you going to park the bus?
I don't think I'm going to have it done by then.
Really?
I might throw an air cushion in and take
it. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a big project.
Well, here's what I'm finding, man. With working every day and trying to come home and do a little bit on the bus, it don't work. I mean, you got to put in some time. Like Sunday, I did the floor. I wire brushed the whole floor.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, it took me all day, and it was a mess, man. I had a mess. I haven't been that dirty in 20 years.
Yeah.
And I got to the front of the bus, and where the driver's seat is, it's wood there as well.
Uh-huh.
And I was going to leave it, and I'm like, nah, I better take it up because it might be rusty under there. So I still had to do that part. I got to take the whole heater system out to get the floor out. So, little stuff like that keeps hitting me.
Sure.
And slows you up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, it looks like you got a nice little army of guys helping you. That's good.
Yeah, I got some guys helping. My new video I'll have out probably tomorrow for this week's video of me doing the floor. We went and took some stuff out of a camper, so that stuff will be on this next video.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be. I mean, it's a hustle, just like anything else.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Yep.
Lewis, what do you use to take those videos?
I use my iPhone and I use a GoPro.
Okay.
But my iPhone is shooting, man. I have a what do you call it? DSLR. How you said that camera? DRS? Wait.
No, it's a
DSLR.
Yeah, I got one of them too. But my iPhone is shooting pictures, man, pretty good. It's close to it.
I just think of the memory. I mean, videos take a lot of space. I mean, a half-hour video is, that's a chunk.
Yeah, I run my GoPro on the time lapse, and then I shoot little videos on the phone, and then I splice it all together on the computer.
Wow. What program do you use to do the splicing?
Adobe. Man, I can't think of the name. Wait a minute.
My daughter uses an Adobe program for stuff like that. I can't think of the name of it either.
Adobe.
I bought it for her too.
Is it expensive?
Yeah.
They're all expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's programs in the phone even that can do basic small editing, but if you want to get into YouTube stuff, you got to have a little more capability.
Yeah, I got a project coming up with the wagon. Basically, gonna do everything in the car: the motor, the training, the suspension, all kinds of stuff. I want a video as I go along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, what kind of phone do you have?
Samsung S7.
Wow,
So I'd have to update if I want to do with the phone.
I'll tell you this, Jim. My cousin, who was running our website and all, he was after me years ago to take pictures at the shop, do videos, and I did do a couple of videos that I could stage, but he wanted me to do it while I was working, and I said, I can't. I said, how am I going to do this? I need two hands to work. I'm under the car. Well, let's set up on a tripod. I said, you know how many times I'm going to kick that damn thing over?
Yeah.
No, you really need somebody, in my impression, you need somebody to do that videoing for you.
Yeah. But you know what? They make tripods that have spider arms where you can hook it on stuff.
I mean, one over here somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I tell people. If you got a couple cameras in your shop, just put them up all over the place and just let them run.
That's
what I mean.
Then you want to get the close-up stuff too. So you need that's when you need that handheld. You want to get in there, but
I would imagine you want to do something where it's like a little bit scripted. You take the camera, you go over, and you talk about this, this, that, the other thing. Not actually show the work being done, but show what you're going to do.
Well, you could do it as an overdub later. I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of guys will do that. They'll do the raw video, and then they'll just overdub. What they were doing, and they'll say, well, you really can't see this in this shot because the camera's in the wrong spot, but this is what I was shooting for. It all depends what what you're looking for the end product to be, but
right. I'll tell you, the technology on these phones, man. Like I was looking, like once I got it on the computer, I was looking at one of the shots from the phone. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's crystal clear. It's too clear. It's showing all my my pores and everything. I'm like, yeah, I got to back up a little bit.
That's what happened when the HD TVs came out, and like all the newscasters started seeing themselves in HD, and like, oh my God, my face, my this, my that, my zit. Yeah, it shows every little imperfection, And then lighting too. If you're doing car stuff, lighting is a big thing because under the cars it's always dark. I mean, I do the still stuff that I put up on Twitter and Instagram, and then it goes over to Facebook. But I do that myself. I'm hand holding and I'm shooting, so I can control a little bit what's going on. If I have to force the flash or bring in another light, I'll do that. But again, the camera does surprisingly well in a lot of the low light situations. It just pulls stuff out that I didn't think it was going to show.
Sweet.
So yeah, it's a lot of work.
Joe Connington just texted me back, and she's down for coming on the show here and interviewing at SEMA. So she's on the hook.
Tell her we're free now.
Yeah, tell her to get on right now.
Oh, get on now. Why not?
I tell you what, I get a lot of guests that way. I tell people, want to have you. Hey, what are you thinking? Like, and I'll tell them I'm free Sunday. How about you? And a lot of times they're like, okay.
Yeah. She's ordering a purse too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I made her a purse. She wants a little bit bigger one. So cool. Yeah, she's good people, man. I wish I could have met Boyd. That's one of my guys that I would have liked to met.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or even, check out his cars and stuff. He really started a ball on a lot of these TV shows.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to see some of his stuff in person, and it was, it's almost like it's awe-inspiring. It's almost like, I guess, if you were to see a famous piece of art or
Mhm.
something you studied for years, and then you see it in person, or you hear the band live.
Mhm.
It's kind of stunning. It kind of throws you back, and you say, TV is doing an injustice to this stuff because it makes it look so cavalier, and
Yeah.
it just looks so common on TV. But when you see that thing in person, you say, yeah, I know what it took to build this.
Yeah. I'm gonna wait until Joe comes on because we had talked a while back, and she was telling me some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know that I'll have her talk about it when she comes on. But
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. So I got one of the cars that really got me into older cars is that 34 Vicky he made. It was yellow with a tan convertible top on it,
Uh-huh.
and I made a model of that car. I bought the model,
Oh, wow.
and man, right there, I was kind of hooked on those. And then really kind of got me. I was into cars anyway, but that really got me looking at stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was all over the place. He did everything from old school hot rods to more modern hot rods, and I mean, the guys could do anything. That was the metal work was fantastic.
Yeah. The vision, the vision is half the battle. I think. Just having it in your head and getting it on the metal. Like,
having the vision is actually the easy part. I think it's like transferring it to metal. That's the hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Arco, that car he's putting together, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. I mean, Have you been watching his videos? Are you on his?
I do. I follow his stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's inspiring me to do some metal work. Really.
Yeah.
Yep. I just got so many projects I can't get to it.
I know.
I bought a trunk for Peaches because we needed more space, but now I got to paint it. So I primed it the other day, and I was like, okay, I got to sand it. I'll get back to it. Never got back to it. So now I got to get it on. I like to take it to a bike show at the end of the month. So I need to get it on. I can quit playing.
Yeah, that's usually the way you stick the 15-inch subwoofer.
Maybe 12.
Okay, 12. Yeah.
Well, listen, I blew a speaker on the right side.
Oh.
So I figured I need to buy 4 more to fix it.
Funny story about that. I was over at the UD on Saturday again, and one of the guys asked me about, he's got a late model Corvette and he wanted to change the speakers. And he said, I bought the replacement speakers. I got the same ones, but the wires on the speakers in the car are soldered on, and these take a plug. I'm like, soldered on? I said, well, somebody must have changed them because factory speakers are never soldered. They're always, there's a plug. I said, the cool thing is now there's a couple companies I deal with that sell conversion plugs to put an aftermarket speaker in a factory location, so you don't have to cut the factory harness, and they're cheap. So he said, you want to take a look? I'm like, yeah, let's go take a look. We go over, look at the car. He opens the rear hatch. It was like a 96, I think. And there's a big subwoofer box back there with 2 12-inch subs. I was like, oh.
Those ain't factory.
I was like, this wasn't original equipment. And it had like, the monster cable on there. And I said, okay, we gotta, now the sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want. But
yeah.
Funny stuff.
Yeah, I don't think you can have too many speakers.
Yeah. And the funny thing was, he showed me that the foam around the woofers had just disintegrated, like they usually do. And I said to him, you didn't have to buy new speakers. One of the things I do is I refoam speakers. It's kind of like I've been doing that for years. I have another good company I deal with that sells the foam, even the oddball stuff. And it's just a matter of, taking your time and like anything, just.
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh, sure. Well, I was guilty too. Probably about 20 years ago, a set of my Bose house speakers, the foam went, and I was like, oh my God, no, I gotta fix these. And I went right to Bose and I bought a pair of them, a new pair. And shortly after that, a friend of mine turned me on to refoaming them. And I saw that they were available. So the next time I needed to do it, I did it. I've been doing it ever since. I said, man, that was a waste of money.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, like I said, it takes time. And there's a couple of different thoughts about how to, usually what you do is you glue the foam to the speaker cone first.
Mhm.
And then you glue the foam to the metal ring of the speaker. But
Right.
the thing is, if you get it out of axis,
Oh, you're in trouble.
by a couple millimeters, you're gonna get a buzz. You're gonna get like a
Ooh.
muffin sound. It's not gonna sound right. It's got to be dead center. So I just pay real close attention to doing it. And I just saw a video this year. A guy was showing how to use a 50 hertz reference tone that basically just vibrates the cone and keeps it centered. So I have a generator, and I'm going to try that next time. I'm going to try the old 50 hertz.
That's pretty cool.
That works. And there's a special glue and there's a sealer, and you got to attach it. So I use like 100 little clamps around the end, and
Now, can you change the foam to marina, like outdoor?
If they offer it, yeah. And the thing is, the speakers are all standard sizes, so chances are they will have it.
Yeah. Okay. So keep that in mind.
It's nothing that anybody here couldn't do, because it's a matter of just taking your time. The hardest part is cleaning all the old foam off in the beginning, getting it off. And like I actually garbage picked a set of 4 speakers. I knew they were old, and they're from the 60s. What the hell is the name of them? I can't think of the name right now. But I brought them home, and a couple of them had bad foam, so I ordered up the foam, and somebody had replaced them before, and they used some kind of like an industrial glue. So it was the hardest foam I ever had to remove. Using razor blades and X-Acto knives, but if it's an original speaker, it's really pretty easy. They come apart fast.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you what I messed up on the butts.
Uh-oh.
I got kind of crazy with the air chisel, and I had the pointed one, and I was going in between the rivets, in the hole, knocking them out. Boom, 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 boom. I was going pretty good. So I get by one window, and for some reason I kept my finger on the trigger and shot it right through the window.
Oh.
I was like, oh.
Well,
Luckily, it's one of the side windows that I'm going to get rid of anyway, because I'm going to put the RV windows in. But if it would have been the back window, I'd have been really mad.
Well, I was going to say, luckily it's flat glass, and that stuff is easy to get made.
Yeah.
It's easy and cheap.
Yeah, it's just going through garbage. So.
Yeah. All right.
But at first, my first thought was like, oh! I was like, wait a minute, I'm getting rid of that.
Right.
I was ready to start throwing stuff, but I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Sure.
Yeah, you learn pretty quick. Stuff not to do.
That's one way to learn.
I did that with something too, where I kept my finger on the trigger, and I shouldn't have. And I said, "Whoa, what am I doing?" It must have been an impact gun. It had to be like an air chisel or something. I just don't remember what I was doing now.
I tell you, my air chisel, I think I might have to buy a better one, because it's just not hitting it like I think it should. You know what I mean?
Well, I'll tell you this: even a crappy air chisel is going to have a punch if it's got the right airflow. It all comes down to CFM.
Yeah, I'm using one of those cheap hoses too. Those coil up ones. Maybe I should change the hose.
Oh no, a 1/4-inch coil. That's the worst. That's the absolute worst.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
I want to use at least a 3/8, and a 1/2 inch is even better. But I'll tell you this: I use 3/8 hoses at the house, and what I did years ago is I went to these 3/8 full flow air fittings. I mean, you could almost put your finger through the air fitting. Once I put those in my tools, now I have an 80-gallon dual stage intercooled compressor. You can run a shop off this thing. There's, you can use lifts. I've worked in shops, use the same compressor. So I have no problem for air. And I put those fittings on the tools, and they came alive even more.
Really?
Wow.
It's ridiculous. Because it flows more air. And that's the key is CFM.
I'm going to buy it this week then. I didn't think about that until just now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if you use that coiled hose, those are a 1/4 inch, and they are the most restrictive hose. I mean, that's good for blowing stuff off, but if you want to use air tools, use a 3/8 hose.
Yeah, I got a 3/8 hose on my big compressor, but it's hard, moving it around and all that garbage. So yeah, I'm gonna change the hose, but I'm gonna do the fittings too. Now that you said that, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta find out about those fittings.
Yeah. I have a list in my phone of all, like a cross reference of all the different brands, but I was getting mine at the time at Home Depot. They happened to have them, and I just did the switch over, and I bought a bunch of them. And yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, when you what it's like looking at a 22, a barrel of a 22, and then looking at a 44 or 45.
Really?
It's that much of a difference in size.
Wow.
Yeah.
That never crossed my mind to think that.
Those little fittings just neck down the air, and people don't think about it.
Yeah.
But
I'm hitting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hitting those rivets, and man, I've got to fight them. I'm like, man, the guys on TV are just knocking them out, and here I'm fighting them.
Oh yeah. I had this freaking air gun sitting here for like a year. With the thing, I finally brought it back out to the garage. I could have showed it to you. It's
motion detected in the front yard.
figures.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. See, that's why we have this show, to learn stuff.
Yeah, you always learn something.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I got the cheapy Home Depot connectors, so I can imagine how small they are.
Yeah, they're the standard connectors. I was trying to get the guys in the shop to convert over, and they just wouldn't do it. So
Yeah,
like
I got the Harbor Freight ones.
with me, I got to neck them down, and it sucks. But,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, that happened to me. I have some that are bigger, and I tried to put them on. Like, oh, these don't fit, so I had to neck them down.
right.
But now that you said that, I'm gonna go up full blown.
And even Ace Hardware by here sells fittings. They sell some of the big ones.
Yeah.
Sometimes they call those commercial fittings. They're different places call them different things. But
I think Harbor Freight has different sizes too.
yeah, I don't know if they have the real big ones. I know them as full flow 3/8 fittings.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you just shop around and look.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'll make a note of that.
you'll love it. You'll love it.
Where the fellas at? Nobody.
Well, like I said, John is in Colorado. He was good. I know he said he was going to try to come in if he could.
Oh, Papa Squirrel's in the chat room,
I don't know what.
and
I don't know
Heidi.
what it is.
Scotty says you're looking for a link.
Okay, I'm sending it to him right now.
We had another long one last week. We went like almost 3 hours.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. We went 3 hours.
Man, how long did Dan stay on?
A little while, not too much longer. A little while longer.
Yeah,
And he was done.
yeah. I wasn't even paying attention, man. I was like, man, we've been on 2 hours.
Yeah, you were even on long. I was like, wow, Lewis is here late. That's something.
Well,
Yeah,
I
he's a
felt-
great person to talk to, though. I mean,
Dan is an
just
easy
all
guy.
the stories he has.
I could talk to him, forever. I was telling my wife that he invited us down. He said he'll put us up. She's like, oh, I don't know about that. I was like, he probably would. He's a nice guy. I said, if he likes you, he's the kind of guy where if he likes you, he's gonna, he'll go out of his way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeep and Al was saying he wants to come out to Long Island, kidnap you, and bring you down to Virginia.
Al's been telling me that for a couple of years now. I know.
Yeah, but he just announced he's not doing the tours anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That kind of sucks. But it looks like he downsized a little bit, and now he's doing what he loves doing, not messing with people.
Yeah, it does take up a lot of time. It really does. I had a couple conversations with him, like before we had him on the radio show, and we were talking, and he was saying, yeah, it really is getting to be a pain in the ass. It's just so people are coming in all the time, and they all want to see me. I'm like, well, yeah, you're the face. You're the face of the
Yeah.
business. That's what they want to see.
Yeah.
He's the big TV. Yeah, he's the big TV star.
Yeah. So that's what happens. That's that's that part of be careful what you ask for. You might just get it.
Yeah, that's true.
True. That's so true.
There's a lot that goes with that.
Okay, I just sent everybody links. I thought
Yeah,
everybody was.
Dan Short.
I thought everybody was in the in that what do you call it? The group on Facebook. I guess not. We got Lee in the house. What up, Lee? Hey, who else? We got Joe. What's up, Joe? Heidi Narco, I just sent you the link. Oh yeah, they're talking to us in the chat. And I wasn't even paying attention. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
You don't have the chat on the side?
Yeah, I do, but I had it turned off for some reason.
Yeah, I never see it because I go full screen. I want to see. I go full screen, so I never get to see
You don't
it.
have the chat on the side?
Yeah, I do, but all right, somebody got to turn there.
You're echoing.
Stop
My
watching
mic
on
working?
Facebook.
Yeah.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Scotty.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to send you a link.
Hey, Ray, whatever happened with the electric fan on that Grand National? Did you get that figured out?
I fixed it yesterday, and I tell you something.
Yeah.
I was telling the guy that owns the shop today. I said it's working, but I really feel bad taking credit for it because it was one of those fixes that it wasn't a matter of dogging something down, finding a problem, changing a part, and then making a repair. I was getting voltages and not getting voltages. I did a little more research. I noticed the end of the day the other day that it's got a digital display for the heating and AC. They all didn't have that. And I noticed that it was out because I borrowed from the UD. I got all the old scanners I could get. I have all the OBD1 scanners I think in the world. I have 6 of them in my car right now that do OBD1, including 2 Tech 1s. I got a Monitor 4000 and 2 of the ones that the guys at the
You got a Snap-on brick?
No, not a Snap. That's the only one I don't have right now. But the problem with those is they don't do bidirectional control, and that's what I wanted to do. They don't do it. They just give you data. So I noticed at one point I had I wanted to turn the AC on to see if I could trip the relay, trip the fan. And that's when I noticed that the panel was out. None of the lights were lit. I was like, oh, shit. What's that? What's going on? So that night I got home and I researched it. And the problem I found with this car is I have a stack of schematics like this that I've printed out. They're all conflicting. Like one shows one thing, another shows something else. Like they were showing me the fuse in the fuse box. Well, I don't have the fuse in the fuse box.
Right, yeah.
Right? I actually pulled the computer out. I was going to start doing pinouts on the ECM. Is what I was gonna do. Yeah, well, what am I going to do? I mean, it's all coming through there. But I didn't have. I had a drawing that I printed. I actually sat with Joe on Saturday with all of our colored pencils in his backyard, and we were running paths. And then I look at the print, and the way it printed, you can't read the little letters of the watt. And I'm like, damn! So this thing is useless to me too. So anyway, one of the things I found was a heater control fuse, a 20 amp heater fuse. I was like, all right. So I went in the fuse box, found out it was blown, put that in, and the heater control lit up. I'm like, oh, nice. So I went out to the relays again, and I was again probing. I had power. I didn't have power on pin 86, the switch voltage.
Yeah.
Now I went to pin 85. I didn't have ground. I'm like, wait a minute. Without ground, these relays aren't going to work either. So I was trying to pull the wires. I was going to run separate grounds.
Isn't the ground coming from the temperature sensor?
A lot of this stuff. There is a temperature sensor plug with 3 wires, 2 green, yellow, and black. I pulled out a part, checked it again. I'm looking for corrosion or whatnot. Didn't see anything bad. I checked. I had power on the greens, and I had ground on the black. I'm like, all right, well, that's not it. Put that back together. Then I brought my relay test blocks where you can pull a relay out, you put the block in, then you put the relay in that, and now you have pins. So all of a sudden, I put ground on pin 85 on the relay block, and I heard the relay click. I was like, whoa. And as it clicked, the fan came on. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? So I went back through everything, put it all back together, started the car, got the temperature up. Temperature came up to about 195. Boom, the fan came on. I was like, it's fixed. But what did I do? You tell me, because I'm writing it on my log for what I did. I'm like, I fixed it, but I don't know how.
It sounds like pin 86 was getting ignition through that same circuit as the heater.
I'll tell you what it comes down to. This is my takeaway, and I've seen this on many of the other cars. I don't look at that as an old car. That's my problem. I don't look at that, and it is an old car. The 60s
30 years old.
I know, but it's got 70,000 miles, and it's a one-owner car. I don't see my Zapala as an older car either, and it's over 25 years old. But
You need to let me buy that off you for a couple $100.
yeah, maybe a good nice sandwich or something. Just stuff sits, even though these terminals weren't corroded or all gacked up, I think just by moving them around, plugging them, unplugging them, and just exciting them with some voltage and grounds, it kind of makes them come back to life.
Yeah.
Because that's really all I did. That's all I did. So we'll see if it's going to stay. I don't know.
Hey, so last week's show, Dan Short, that guy's an awesome guy. That was a great show.
He was really a good interview, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I could talk to Dan any day of the week.
Wasn't boring at all.
You know,
How many people realize he's been on the screen for 2 whole minutes, and Terry hasn't said a word yet?
He's taking it all in.
he was texting. He's in the chat room.
Maybe it could be. I don't know. I definitely don't have the fingers for that.
He's
How's
thinking
it going,
about a
Terry?
Doro bumper. Just looking nice.
Oh, you see that, right? Thanks, Ray. I appreciate that.
Very nice.
Now, yeah, we starting with that. We got so many projects going on, man, and just been videotaping like a fool. We're putting that bumper on. I'm putting it on just to test it out because sometimes those GTO bumpers come bent.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
So that orange one, I have an orange one and I have a blue one. So far, that blue one fits like perfect.
Yeah.
I want to put the orange one on and see how bad it is because what happens when you close the hood, it closes right on that nose.
Yeah, that's a very common problem with those. Even if the bumper came off that car, they don't always fit right.
Yeah,
What
so
year
what
is
I'm
that
gonna do is get a tag along and just pull it out in a tree
Yeah.
and just bend it straight,
Yeah.
and then sell
Terry, what year is that one?
it. 69.
Is that this one?
Yep, that's it right there.
That's all. Yeah.
That car, this just at Carlisle. That was the weekend I sent you the picture of the 56. Man, there's some nice cars down there.
Yeah, I know you all up in Carlisle. I know. I was like, look at my man.
Yeah, the local Mopar club was sending out their emails all week with all the pictures from Carlisle. There was some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
There was a 66 or 7 Nova custom car, tilt hood, all the bumpers tucked in, LS, snake
How I feel
skin
about
like
that?
interior. Oh my God, this car was friggin' had to be over $100,000 car.
Sure.
Easily, probably.
Yeah.
And what I did was I bought GTO fenders that were rotted out on the bottom. And matter of fact, that's where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the body shop. I cut the bottom half off and put a patch panel on there, and that's looking pretty good. So I got one, and I'm gonna do the other. I'm just gonna redo that whole car. I mean, rad support, everything.
Let me ask you a question.
Ask
On those lower patches on my car, my 65, and I'm sure on the others, there is a brace behind that lower.
Yep.
Now, they don't come on the 65 patch panels. Do they come on the ones for your car? You're a lucky man.
Yep. They came right there. It's like the support in the back,
Yeah.
like closest to the door. It's like a little
Right.
piece of metal, like almost like a C channel.
Yes.
And you got to trim it up and cut it in, and it's they're great. I like them. I mean, because you ain't gonna get anything to fit like a GM fender.
On the Good Mark fender I bought had everything in place, had the brace in place, and that fender fit perfectly. It fit beautifully.
Really? See, I heard bad things about Goodmark, but then I heard good things about AMD.
Say right. I guess it's again, like I was saying before, just it's not always the part. The cars aren't all the same.
No.
What you could take that fender on one car and put it on a car right next to it, and it's going to fit totally different.
Yep.
So and that's how things get a bad rap, and you got to take it all with a grain of rust.
Well, and also you got to the person. See, the problem is like everyone has a voice. So if you got an idiot don't know what he's doing and putting a part on, and he doesn't know what he's doing, now all of a sudden he has a voice. Oh, the part sucked, and people listen to him, even though he's an idiot, didn't know what he was doing.
Exactly.
And think of all the different assembly plants across the country that made GM cars, right? Were they stamped there or were they stamped in Michigan and brought out? Because if they were stamped at each individual, they're all going to be different.
See, I heard stories about 69 Camaros, the ones that were in Ohio, and there was another one, I think, matter of fact, Tarrytown. They used to build them here. We had a GM plant over across the Tappan Zee Bridge.
We had one in Framingham, Mass here too.
Yeah, and so I heard that the cars, some of the parts were different, not interchangeable. I heard this is what I heard. I don't know.
Makes sense.
You would think, because I mean, you would have to have the exact same tooling. So
Yeah, and then not only that, as the part is stamped, that die is wearing. And I mean, even down to something like an emblem. I've read stories about guys looking at early production or late production emblems, and they don't want the late production because the die was getting
weak.
Weak, and it was like flashing. And then some guys look for that because it's an oddity. They want that as a collectible. So
Yeah, no. But yeah, so that's what we're doing. Getting back on the 67 Chevelle, the 71. I'm doing that frame kit. You remember when I said I opened my mouth and I said, if you want to see me put one with the frame, with the body on the frame, send me a message. And I must have got about 300. I want to see this. And so like I get the Chevelle back from the painters, and I took the exhaust system off because I wanted to do a MagnaFlow setup. And I was saying to myself, Jesus, now would be a good time to install one of those frame kits, because I had the cross member. It comes with a cross member too. Now, the cross member I have on that car was the one that I built back when I first built the car. There was no companies making cross members for an LS with a 6-speed and a Chevelle. So I had to cut the perch, flip it upside down, do the degree and angle and all that, and tack it in place, pull it out, weld it up, put it back in. And that's the frame that's still on that car to today. And I was like, yeah, now would be a good time to do one of those Summit Racing, frames. I was like, too much. I don't want to deal with it. Even though I got like 300 emails saying that they want to see it, but And next thing I know, that next morning, I kid you not, that next morning, the company HPI contacted me and said, "Hey Terry, you remember when you said you wanted to put a frame? We'll send you one right now if you want to still do it." And I was just. I mean, literally, I was saying I'm not going to do it on a Sunday afternoon, like 5 o'clock. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just going to go and get a, Matter of fact, I got a Blackheart. Hooker sent me the Blackheart cross member.
Oh yeah.
So I was going to put that in, and this is like 6 o'clock. I'm like, okay, I'll put it in tomorrow. But then what happens? They call me up. Hey Terry, you remember when you said something about doing one of our frame kits on a car that's pretty much together? And I was like, yeah. You still want to do it? We'll send you one right now. I was like, send it,
Well, let me ask you this. How are you going to weld? You can't weld on the top of it. Right?
Well, the C channel on the Chevelle, it's like this, but it comes it's slanted
on an angle. Yeah.
It's slanted on an angle. So what I had to do is what I'm doing right now is I got one of those, what do they call a porta power,
Mm-hmm.
You know how it has that alligator?
Yeah.
I call it like an alligator clamp. You put it in. So the clamp is like, the opening's like this. It has to be like this.
Wow.
So what I did was I got the porta power and I started pumping it up, and I was like, this is working. So I kept on, and I was able to get it open to the point where now I can put that, I could box it. I could box it comfortably.
Right.
And so that's going to be a video coming up.
Okay.
Installing that whole thing. You got to do it with the weight on the car. A lot of people are asking me how you doing the measurements and everything like that. I said, well, you could still do the measurements, but if your car is jacked up, it's jacked up. If your car is pretty much, if the body's on the car, what it is what it is. So if you want to install it, you install it. But chances are, if you see a crease or something like that, then you may have issues. But it's on mine, it looks pretty straight, so I'm just going to go and roll with it. Like I said, install it with the weight on the car and see what happens. And it's going to be interesting to find out how the car rides, because like I know how it rode before I put this thing in. I want to feel the rigidness of it. I want to see if it really makes. I think it's going to be pretty tight.
Yeah.
So busy.
Sorry, I got a production question for you. I was asking Lewis and Ray before. What software do you use to edit your videos?
I have Premiere, Adobe Premiere.
Yeah, that's what I use.
Thank you.
I have Adobe Premiere. I have it, like I touch it every now and then. But you want to know all my videos, because like I don't want them to be too flashy. I don't want them to be, because I like it just, hey, what's up? This is Terry. Boom, right into it. And no trick camera and all that, like, hey, we're going to be right back. We're going to teach you how to change a relay, right after this. Coverman 66 flash and all of it. No.
Yeah.
So I got the original, what's it called? I do all my videos in Windows Media Player. Windows
Okay.
editor. That's it.
No kidding.
Simplistic. It's right to the point, and everything that I want to do, I've done.
Now, I was telling these guys because I got the wagon project coming up soon, and I want to do some videos, kind of like what you do, but my take on it, not nearly as cool. But I do want to shoot a couple things with it, just because.
Not just because of the wonderful things he does. Oh, my man Arco there. What's up, Arco?
What's up?
Hey, Marco, the other day I caught myself watching like 10 of your videos in a row.
All right.
Yeah. You're doing great work, man. Appreciate it.
Yo, that's my man right there. What's up, man?
Hey, I gotta not to interrupt, but I gotta agree with you 1,000% on the videos. I use what is it called, like YouTube editor or something like that, and I actually do all my videos, all my filming, everything with my cell phone, and nobody can believe that. They're like, "What? You do all that with your cell phone?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I got. That's what I use." And I don't do a bunch of flashy crap, and all we have is a simple intro, a simple outro, and everything in between is non-edited. We don't edit anything. So if you see me smash my finger or fall down and look stupid, it's all right in the video.
Yeah.
Arco, I think the only thing you need as an addition to the great content you have already is just maybe like a clip-on mic.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Got one, right? Yeah.
That's
We
it.
actually just got one of those. We just haven't had a chance to learn how to use it yet. So,
Okay.
yep.
I was watching it the other day, and I was like,
What are you going to clean the Venetian blinds with that thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a Swiffer.
Marco, I was going to send you one for Christmas, but you already bought it, so. But I was just saying the same thing. I was like, you need the lapel mic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what happens is I was watching a couple other guys' videos, and they have the same thing where they wear a mic right here, but when they're hammering and stuff, it like just screws up the whole sound.
Yeah.
And then I have the same problem with my cell phone because when I start hammering or making a real loud noise, it adjusts and it goes all the way down, and then it takes it like probably 5 seconds, 6 seconds before it starts coming back up again. So
Yeah.
sometimes you'll see me pause, and that's to let it reset. So I know, but I forget sometimes. So
It's like the microphone gets shocked. Ugh.
yeah,
Okay,
yep,
I'm back.
exactly.
I got you,
like
Heidi.
noise circuitry built into it, so it like
Yeah, it's like if you have a wind cut option, it'll actually,
Yeah.
cut down any wind that's going across. Same thing.
I wonder if there's a way you can adjust that though to leave it where it's on the whole time.
It depends on the camera that you use, and that's where that
Yeah.
is.
maybe it's just a mic sensitivity.
Yeah.
Hey, Ray.
Ray,
Yeah.
Real quick.
so remember I was telling you, since I've taken my show truck out since the springtime, it was detonating and pinging, and I did the homeless stuff. So I just put a set of injectors, fuel pressure regulator, and a new gauge. In fact, the gauge sitting in my hand was reading 7 pounds with no fuel pressure.
Nice.
So anyway, it runs awesome. I keep advancing it more and more and more, and still haven't gotten the ping yet. So I'm still playing around with it, but
How far up?
much better.
How much advance do you have in it right now?
I keep doing it by air and by hand, so
All right, 'cause
I'm
you know,
not
I was
using.
gonna say, I was doing the same thing with my car. I kept feeding it advance, and it kept taking it. I said, I'm going to go until it barks back at me, and I never got it to talk back to me. And I had like 45 degrees advance. In
Well, I got the supercharger, so I got to be careful. But I got the BTM for the MSD. But I've left it at 0 and haven't had a. In the past few years, I've always had to leave it on 3 because it would always detonate if I got on it. So
Right.
now I'm at a good point right now. So I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. Roll with it.
Hey, Ray. You
Yes,
guys were talking about relays before I got on. What was the issue?
On the Grand
Because you know what, I had a relay issue, and I'll tell you about it as soon as I find out about yours.
the problem was the Grand National I was working on at the shop. There's 3 relays for the cooling fan, a low
Ooh.
speed, a high speed, and a delay.
Yes.
And I was having conflicting voltage issues on the relays, and they weren't working. And as of yesterday, now they're working. So
On my Trailblazer, okay, I the car sat for like 3 days because I was just like, I knew it couldn't be the relays. I replaced the relays like I don't know how long ago, not too long ago.
Which
And I
relay?
just overlooked it. And what happened was the car wouldn't start. It would start sporadically. So I thought it was a fuse box, right? It wasn't a fuse box, right? And so I'm sitting up there trying to troubleshoot this thing, and I'm just like, whatever. You know, you come out, you start it up. It would start sometimes it wouldn't, and it didn't start for like 3 days. The way I got mine set up is because that car was a test mule for Aeromotive 06 Trailblazer, so I have a whole different fuel system, but it's tied into the original relay setup on the Trailblazer. So when you turn the key, it primes it, right? And then it shuts it off until you start the car, and then it pumps the fuel pump again.
You're talking about the fuel pump relay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, fuel pump relay. Yes. So I realized that it was the relay from the Aeromotive setup. It was working sporadically. So these relays, don't overlook them.
I will tell you this. I just had this conversation with somebody the other day about relays, and I'm a big fan of Bosch relays. I'm just, Brian will agree. The Bosch relays are just, like these guys. A friend sent me a link to these. These are relays that have the fuse built into them. Because whenever you wire a relay, you want to fuse that 86 circuit, and it's a Chinese relay. I bought it. It's actually from the LED store. So it's the store I've used for LEDs. They're good. Now, I've used these on a couple of things so far, and I haven't had a failure. But I keep a Bosch relay as a spare.
No, if you have a fuel pump relay that goes out every now and then, what I did was it was acting up. I was like, I got to figure out what this thing is. It's killing me. So what I did was I took the relay out. I didn't have an extra relay, and I took a wire and jumped the 2 circuits.
Well, if you go from pin 30 to 87, that'll power your device. Yes.
And it powered it. I was like, oh, it's this little relay. So I went to the store and I got the relay and I launched that other one, man. I mean, it was.
It's like Lee's saying, reaction time. The relay, there's a set of points in it. There's a contact. These aren't solid state. These things are analog.
Yeah.
So those points have to close. And I think that's what happened on this car. I think from sitting so long, they might have just kind of not fused closed, but just got in a relaxed position where I had to start playing with it and throwing voltage and grounds at it to kind of like kickstart its heart. And now the relay
probably got stuck.
Shantae said, just order 2.
Yeah, that's what they probably got stuck.
Yeah.
So what Lee was saying right there, he found 2 slow relays. I didn't know that you can have a slow relay. I didn't know
Absolutely.
I thought a relay was it either worked or it didn't.
No,
Right, a good
here,
one or a
that's what I
shitty,
thought
a bad one.
Look, just Google it, and you'll see inside. It's have you ever seen the inside of an old school voltage regulator?
Yeah.
That's what's in a relay, except there's just either 1 or 2 sets of contacts.
They have some that are timed. That when you turn the key off, or it's like on the Ford with the headlights that stay on at night, and when you turn the car off, it's delayed reaction or delayed timing, so that a headlight stays on, and then of course that fuse slowly goes or ticks off, and then it turns off.
There's 2 ways to do
get stuck, huh?
But that's the 3rd relay in the Buick. Relay number 1 is the low-speed fan. Relay number 2 is the high-speed fan. And all I did is they put a ceramic power resistor on the fan motor. So when they send voltage through the low-speed relay, it goes through that resistor to give the motor only 10 volts, 10.5 volts.
Yeah, that's a trip.
When the high-speed relay is tripped, it bypasses that resistor and gives the fan full juice. The 3rd relay in the circuit is called the what do they call it? It's basically like the sleep timer. So if the car is hot, you shut the key off, the relay stays latched, lets the fan stay on until the temperature sensor shows it cools, and then the relay opens. But yeah, there's contacts in there. It's all it is.
See, I think heat also affects those relays too.
Oh yeah,
They're pretty damn robust. They are pretty robust.
It's almost like you gotta insulate them.
Well, over voltage. If you have an over voltage problem, that'll like a regulator, it'll burn the contacts. So, they're not invincible by any means, but they like the good ones. The Bosch relays are pretty damn tough.
Now I like the Bosch relays. So what I did was I got an extra relay in the car that I'm keeping.
Right.
And and some wire just in case to jump to get home.
Yeah.
But I mean, I imagine it's the same thing as like when you buy a set of fuses and you get a good brand like Bus brand or whatever, and you're using those fuses. Well, I've had problems where like when you go to Harbor Freight and you buy the cheapest fuses that they sell at Harbor Freight, I mean, they'll give you problems. I've had them catch on fire and melt and everything else in the car. You know?
They
You
actually had a
plug them in and you
recall
pop,
on that
raise
stuff.
plug them in, pop, pop.
Yeah.
They actually had a recall on that stuff from Harbor Freight.
Okay.
I
The
can
fuses?
believe it.
Yeah. On the fuses and some of that stuff. Yeah. I got professional shops that use that crap.
Oh man.
No.
They as bad as their jack stands?
Yeah, right.
Even though replacement of the jack stands were recalled.
Really?
And most,
Yeah, they
people
were.
most people wanted a credit back. They didn't want new ones, is what I heard.
No. Actually, the funny part was I was in the store one day because that's where I go to find my skips, the guys that skipped out without paying on me.
Ah.
Go up to Harbor Freight and hang out for a while.
Try and wrench sets.
And so I'm standing there, and this guy's bringing a set back, and I said, "Hey, the new ones have the same recall out." He goes, "Do?" And I show him, and he's like, "But they got to be better than these, right?" I said,
You gonna trust them?
I said, "You're not a cat, so you don't have 9 lives."
They'll kill you slower.
So he gets up front. I'm standing by the register, and the lady asked him, "Do you want your money back or the replacements?" And he goes, "I don't know." He goes, "Well, the replacements are better than these, right?" And she said, "Yeah."
Ah.
He goes, "I'll just take the replacements."
Yeah.
Man.
You just showed it.
I'll tell you, as we're talking, I'm holding the LED store relay and a Bosch relay. I can feel a weight difference.
Oh, yeah.
The Bosch relay is heavier.
Potter and Broomfield is just as good, too.
Excellent brand. That's an excellent company.
What brand is it?
Potter and
Potter.
Broomfield.
And then
Oh.
Hella has some, too.
Hella
Yeah,
stuff.
Hella's
is actually
always
very-
So,
Hella stuff is actually hard to find.
yeah.
It's so good.
The lighting company?
Yes.
Yeah. They're made in Germany,
Yep,
actually.
there we go.
those
Look
relays.
at that.
Yeah, that's the ones right there.
They're not even dirty yet. What's up? Haven't you?
Oh, look at
I
that.
haven't started the project yet. Soon.
Oh,
Actually, you buy the Harbor Freight, you pull out your weld, you grind it down, and you weld in the extra metal.
You gusset the hell out of them.
yeah.
Did you guys see that commercial or that recall that they just did on the Chevy, the new Chevy car and truck jacks made out of plastic?
No.
What a joke! Yeah, dead serious.
Really.
The scissor are made out of plastic.
Yeah, they're
Wow.
like the scissor jacks that you have in all the cars, and it's a
Holy
scissor jack. And they showed where they would put it like under a Chevy truck or even a smaller Chevy car or Ford, whatever. And they started jacking them up, and the thing just explodes, and then the car comes down on top of it.
Oh, nice.
And they had there's a whole video on how to use that the correct way.
Yeah, see, who is going to do that? You know what I mean?
So
What is the
sitting on
correct
side
way?
of the road
What do you
with
do?
the
Throw it
car
in the trash can?
Yeah, throw it in the trash can and get yourself a hydraulic jack. That's what
Yeah,
you do.
right.
Call
Yeah.
AAA.
What is the correct way, Brian? I'm very
Yeah.
curious.
Call AAA.
I laughed. I didn't even watch it, but I just thought it was kind of funny that there was a link to go to see the proper way of using this plastic scissor jack.
I mean, that's almost like saying there's a proper way to stand next to a fire and throw 10 gallons of gasoline on it. This is how you do it. I mean, it's the same. It's going to be the same result, you know?
Well, I know I have my favorite method.
There's some guy in Russia who will do that video, though.
No,
What
The Russian
car?
Dashcam videos are the best in the world. Those guys, they're freaking nuts.
The video this morning that I was watching, I was laughing about is some guy was it was like a Jeep, not a Commander, but whatever the other Liberty or whatever it was, and he was trying to put the spare tire in the Jeep, and it's on that rack that you got to put the lid, the back trunk area lid deal, the hatch. You got to put the hatch down first, and then put that locking mechanism with the spare tire on the back of it after that. The guy was literally trying to put that in first or some crap, and I was watching the video just laughing. I'm like, can people that they're that stupid, you know?
Yeah.
Man.
You have like a Benny Hill music button, man.
Oh man, that was epic right there.
Well, Brian, you were talking about the guy with the jacks, the mechanic. I was in line today at Advance Auto getting something for a trip tomorrow, and the guy at the desk is trying to explain to the guy, is it upstream or downstream? He goes, well, there's no difference. The mechanic's saying this. The guy goes, it's a clear difference. And I'm like, this is a mechanic. And I'm like, it's painful to watch this.
Yeah. Talking about O2 sensors?
Yeah. He didn't know the difference between upstream or downstream. I'm like, okay.
Well, the only problem is, technically, it could be the same O2 sensor, front or rear. I mean, it could be parts. That's why there's a big difference between a mechanic and the parts guy. That's why they usually get in a fight, because the one guy says they're all the same, but the parts guy that reads a part and there's an A and a B because one's up and one's down.
Well,
then they have the
guy brought it in and he still didn't know what it was, and I'm like, oh, this is painful to watch.
Oh no, I went to AutoZone one time before, and I was asking for I forgot what it was for my Chevelle, and they were just like, is that a Ford or a Chevy? I was like, I walked out. I walked out. I said,
That's
first four letters.
I have an old school auto parts store just up the block from my house. Everybody in there is old. The stock is old. They know hard parts. It's like you don't have to tell them. You just tell them what you need. I was getting stuff for I need the axle seals for my Pontiac. I say, I need axle seals for a 12-volt posi. Well, what kind of car is it? It's in a Pontiac GTO. He's like, well, then it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be a Chevy rear. I'm like, yeah, it would be. He's like, no, they didn't come with Chevy rears. I'm like, mine did. I'm like, not from the factory, but when I bought. So, I got it. I said, let me just give you the application. You give me the parts. And and then he knew. He goes, okay, you're one of those guys where everything is like mixed up. I'm like, yeah. Everything is mixed.
I'd be like, I don't know how to take that.
Yeah, that's all right.
Hey, not to change the subject, but Lewis,
yes.
Joey was just texting me. He was asking if you knew about that video that he just did on that installation he was telling you about for your bus.
Oh yeah, he showed me that.
Yeah,
pretty interesting.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, that bus is looking good, man.
Where do I see the bus at? I mean, how could I watch it? Is it on Facebook?
Yeah, I have my YouTube channel, Busting Out Schoolie.
Oh, well, you gotta send the link to me, bro.
I just put it in the chat. It's in the chat.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's Busting Out Schoolie. Schoolie spelled Skoolie.
Okay, yeah, Heidi actually has it, so I'll watch that on there and check it out. So
yeah, I got the new video coming out probably tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Of me getting extremely dirty.
You got that thing all stripped out and everything already, though?
Pretty much, yeah. I got it stripped out. I wire brushed the floor, and I got to do a little bit of stuff in the front, get the heater out, and so I can get that part of the floor out. But once that's done, then I'm gonna do some welding and get the patches going, and get it painted.
How much longer before you retire?
Blasting the floor instead of wire brushing it?
All right, say again, Ray.
Did you consider blasting that floor instead of wire brushing it?
It takes a whole nother boat.
A lot faster though.
Yeah. Well, I did it now, man. I was on my hands and knees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait till you see the video. You see, I was kicking up some dust.
Yeah.
How much longer before you retire?
3.5.
So you want to have it done so when you retire, you can go buzz around.
Yeah, but it'd be done next summer because I know me. Yeah, I'm gonna get at it so we can take it on vacation at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if some sponsors come through, I might have it done for SEMA.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be really cool.
That it all depends on people.
Yep.
Yep.
What do you think, Ray? We can put Motormouth Radio on the side of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm willing to sponsor anybody. You want to throw something on the back? I got you.
Putting that 10 on top of
me
the
at 66 right across the side.
Right across the side. There you go.
Right.
Terry, can you daisy chain LSs in one of those?
I don't see why we can't.
Like in Vegas with the 4 motors that are in line, or what would that that Roadster. He's got like the 4 blown.
Oh yeah, that guy out in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Hey,
thing's insane,
with
man.
with duct
That thing's
tape,
absolutely
anything's
insane.
possible.
There you go.
Yep.
We'll throw some LSs in that thing. You know.
Yeah.
You know. Need one to keep that bus cool. Hook up an air conditioning duct or something.
You know,
Yeah.
speaking of that, Terry, I think I got you a job for the new shop.
What new shop?
Well, the one that deal you were telling me about with the bodywork and paint and the
Yes.
version. My buddy at the shop, my friend's son, he's got an El Camino, and it's got a 350 in it. He's turning the truck off a lease, so he's going to drive the Elky as a daily. And he says to me, "Listen," he goes, he already has a Grand National rear for it, and he's saying, "I don't know, I'm thinking I want to do an LS, but I don't know if I should do the rear." I said, "Do the rear end first because you have it." They said, "And drive it." He says, "But I don't know." He goes, "You know a guy," and of course I know a guy. I said, "Listen," I said, "We'll make a deal." I said, "He'll take the car and give you back a car with an LS in it." He says, I said, "You just give him money." He goes, "Well, I got that." I'm like, "I'll put you two together."
He says he got that. All right, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and like he can come by like once or twice. That's it.
No, he wouldn't care. He wouldn't bother. He won't bust your balls. He's good. But yeah, so I got you a customer lined up when you're ready.
How fast does he want to go?
It's going to be a street car. He's not looking to make a race. It's an El Camino. So what are you going to do with it? There's nothing in the back. There's
no fast El Camino, kamikaze.
Yeah, true.
Just put the motor in the back.
Yeah. No,
do a wheel standard.
He would be very happy with a lightly warmed over LS with the right tranny, and he's got the good rear.
Like about 400 or 500 somewhere around there.
That'll be more than enough.
All right.
In the 4s, it'll be more than enough. Yeah.
Yeah. A simple cam swap and maybe a little head work, and you're good.
Doesn't have to be crazy, right?
All right. You know, because I'm not one for a crazy, stupid, radical cam. You know, I like a nice cam, but I don't want at a stoplight, car sounds like it's cutting off.
Yeah.
Can't your brakes. You gotta negotiate when you use your brakes because you're like, oh, I got no back. Yeah.
Right.
No.
So
trade off overlap for brake pedal. Yeah.
There you go.
So Terry, let me pick your brain on. I got an LS question for you. So
contraband.
Purchased off the police auction.
So 13 Grand Sport vet. LS3, manual car, dry sump car.
13 Grand Sport vet. Got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's already got full exhaust and everything. So the plan originally was just to put a blower on it, mild cam, be good for probably 650, no problem. What do you think about doing a little bit of head work? Because the LS3 heads flow pretty damn good.
I'd leave them.
Yeah,
I'd leave them. I wouldn't do anything about them because wait a second. They're 13, so he's got LS3s came straight off. What's the name? So they're not ported. I mean, like if you want to go a little port work, but it's like, is the juice worth the squeeze? I mean, if you got to work an engine to take that out to get disable that car just to get the heads ported, and what are you going to pick up? Maybe an extra 20.
Yeah, well, so the original, I was going to kind of do it in stages, do a cam, and we were going to, the local guy knows his stuff. He's done a lot of good LS work. He did my past car. So we were going to do a cam, but then he was going to swap the heads out, I think, with the company called Frankenstein, where they basically do really good work. The car would be making, probably 500 or so with the tire then. But then, I'm like, man, I can pick up a lot more power with the blower. That would have cost me about $5 to $8 grand. Do the heads and the cam and the work. But then I'm like, I can just force the air down her throat and, make 650, 700 without even cracking the heads. So, I mean, you have to do some, some of the valve springs and stuff like that, but not.
Yeah, you have to double up the springs and all that. But I mean,
that's pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, the amount. Are you going to feel the power, Frank? I mean, what's called Ray? What do you think? Do you think you're going to feel power? Like, let's say you had a 500 horsepower engine, and then you go and get that ported. What do you think? I mean,
like you said, Terry, you get on the edges of things, and you don't always have that. It's not like when you just put the engine in the first time, you feel it.
You feel it, exactly.
You see that in your time slip. You don't always feel that in the seat of your pants.
Right.
You pick up a little top end. Maybe you go into a couple hundred RPM up the ladder. It's like
that's what I think is going to happen. You'll be able to go a little higher in the RPM range.
You start spending thousands of dollars to get a little bit of a little bit more of a difference? How far you want?
The first $2,000 is going to be your most power.
Exactly. Yeah. Always.
Anything from 25 to 10 grand is going to be on paper time.
I mean, the car's no slouch now. It's making about 430 wheel right now with the work we've done to it.
That's excellent.
I mean, you pick up another. The issue you're going to run into then is you're going to be traction limited. I mean, the car's got a 12-inch wheel in the back, but you even with the sticky street tire, it's still going to lose traction. You ain't going to hook till third.
And
you
Put
know,
the supercharger on it and go.
What
I'm
body
sorry?
style is that? What's the engine in?
it's the LS3. It's the last year of the Grand Sport. With last year
it's
the C6.
Corvette, right.
Yeah, it's a dry sump car, which is nice. So
That's nice.
manual. So I mean, we're gonna swap the clutch out and do some stuff like that. And I have a bad feeling I'm gonna end up having to put some like AAA Toyos or something on it so it'll hook. So but it's fine. Anyway, I'm just kind of thinking about it, and we'll probably do it later this fall.
I mean,
How does the car hook and launch now?
Oh, it does fine.
I mean, describe the suspension. How does it actually?
I mean, it's a stock vet. I mean, it you hit it, she does what you tell her to.
All right, because I'm just thinking like if you can, I would work on the suspension to get more of that like pro stock kind of launch.
Yeah,
that's what I would think about doing. I you know what? Before I port the heads, I would go and invest in like maybe some nice coilovers.
On my last car, my C5, I had LG Motorsports coilovers, so we pulled all the leaf springs and all that, and the car was completely corner bound. I mean, that car was just hilarious fun to drive.
Yeah, that's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, but what's crazy is you can tell this car, even though it makes less power, it just feels better. That LS3 versus the LS6. It's a different animal.
The LS6 stoplight to stoplight. That's a nice engine.
That's a great engine.
That's
but
a great
engine. It just
engine.
didn't have the ball. The LS3 just has down low grunt.
It's LS3 is a violent engine.
Right. I love it.
Right out the back. Right at the shop.
Yeah. So, like I said, we'll see. The cool thing about and it's a centrifugal blower. So what we're planning on doing, so it makes power like a turbo below $3,000. She's a pussy cat. As soon as it hits 3,500,
kicks in.
I was talking to the guy that built my other buddy's car, and he goes, "Let me give you some piece of advice." He goes, "When you hit it, you make sure it's pointing straight." and my buddy went for a ride. I mean, he had a Viper. He had twin turbo Vipers, but man, that Vet hit so hard. And he even said, he goes, "Man, this car is scary." Because of the way it came on so hard. It wasn't. I mean, it was rough. When
I first got my 2011 SS, that had an LS3 in it.
Yeah.
And I remember my buddy, I was telling him, I was like, the car's fast, but it just doesn't seem like, and this is before I knew about the whole traction control on that car. I mean, you hit the button, there was like 3 different traction controls. Right. And he says, "What's it not doing?" I was like, "It's lighting them up somewhat, but it's not really, like going crazy." He goes, "That's because you didn't fully disable the traction control." I was like, "Well, how do you do that?" He says, "Hold the button for 7 seconds." He says, "On that Camaro, hold that button for 7 seconds. You hold it for 7 seconds, you're going to see the traction control because there's like a wheel and it says TC and it's crossed out. And you think the traction control's off, but no. You keep on holding it, everything goes out. And then he goes, when that happens, go to a parking lot and learn your car because it's a different animal."
Well, that's the way,
And I went to a parking lot, and boy, that car. I mean, like I was like, "See, this is what I'm talking about." But then I got rid of that car. I got a ZL1.
That's the thing with the Vets, where you can turn it off. You can go, competitive driving, or hold on to your ass.
Yeah. In my ZL1, it's like they got like lap modes and all. It's all that car is a race car basically. I mean, that car is sick.
Those new ZL1. What year do you have now?
I got the last year before they changed the body style because I like that body style, the 2015, where it still looks like a 68 Camaro instead of like now it looks like a Torino. So I kind of like that one. So I had an opportunity to get the last one, and I was like, put me down.
So my buddy Mark, who has a really nice Camaro, SS Camaro, he talked himself into it. He bought him a 2019 CTSV. He's already got it pulleyed, and hey, dude, that car is just wrong. That car is just. I mean, I don't know. A 4-door car should not be that fast.
Yeah,
And
they make
it
them in a
just-
station wagon too.
They come a station
Well,
wagon.
I know, yeah. But I mean, it's so subtle until he hits it. I mean, you can't catch him. I mean, most cars can't catch that car, and it's crazy because anyway, it's nice. But anyway,
And what is that in?
it's a Cadillac.
Oh, okay,
Last year, the 2019 CTSV sedan,
Yeah.
and it just sounds just stupid. Stupid.
Listen,
That
one of my friends bought one for his wife back in 07, I think, and I went and picked it up because the only place that had that color was down in Georgia.
Right.
So I threw the wife and kids in. We took off down there in the truck, picked it up, and when I was pulling it out of the lot, I'm like, man, this car feels a little funny. So I drove down the lot. I said to my wife, "Kid, get in, man. We're gonna take this for a ride, man." We took it down the block, man. I was like, "Oh my god, this thing is fast."
Yeah.
Them Cadillacs is no joke.
Yeah. And they just keep getting faster. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, I told my buddy, I'm like, "Hey, you sure you want your wife driving this? Because it was a beast."
Sure. Yeah.
No, that's a nice car.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
Hey guys, I'm gonna bail. It's getting past my bedtime.
Take care of
All
yourself.
right, Jim.
See you,
Take
Jim.
it easy, guys.
Great
Thanks
job.
for
All right,
having
Jim.
fun.
Take it easy. So, Arco, man, you doing some work over there at the shop?
Yeah, if I could keep all the idiots out of the shop.
Yeah.
That's what you'll
Lock
lock
the
the door.
doors.
Oh, I locked the doors, but it's funny because like they'll beat on the windows, they're waving, and like you're just like, look at this.
You got to put guard dogs out front.
Well, a friend of ours was just saying the other night or last night, I guess it was. They were saying we need to dig some moats with some alligators. You know.
Ah, you got to put Heidi out there with a bat.
Here, I got
Oh,
some.
yeah.
Look, that's what you need. You need to put him out there for you.
Oh, that's so cute.
When I'm at the shop,
I
everybody's
can
always-
barely hear you. What happened to your mic?
What's that?
Does he sound not as loud?
Yes, he does.
Easy, Heidi. Relax, girl. Relax.
It's funny though, because you know, like when I'm at the shop, people come over there, and then they'll talk for a second and they'll leave. But when she's at the shop, they see her and whoop, they turn around and leave. Because she'll be like, "Nah, nah, 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 get the hell off my property."
There you go.
Oh man, are these people that you don't know, Arco?
No, it's a lot of people in town, and a lot of people drive from like, I mean, there's people that will take like 2.5 hour drives and just show up at the shop. Hey, we wanted to see the shop and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's all cool and everything, but you know, you try to explain to people, it's like, hey, we're running a business here. It's not, you're not at Disneyland.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have.
Yes, I am.
And then they're like, well, I want to buy a shirt and whatever. So sometimes those ones are all right because they'll spend a couple $100 in shirts and stickers and hats and cups and whatever. But at the same time, you know, like Heidi and I always talk about, you know, if you're making $70 an hour and, you know, they're in there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, you ain't making crap, you know, because they're wasting your time. So
Yeah.
Well, maybe start advertising certain days that you have people come in or hours.
yeah.
Well,
that'd be cool.
you guys mentioned it early. That's what Dan did. Dan started
Yeah.
charging for tours. I mean, time's money, man. You know?
it is too, man. And that's the thing is like it's got so bad that literally I'll put my earplugs in, my safety glasses, I'll put my welding helmet on, and all of a sudden somebody's beating on the door, and I'm like, are you?
Yeah, you.
Every 15 minutes to a half hour, there's somebody beating on the door.
No,
Yeah.
you can't do that.
Yeah, it gets old, man. And
You know, we got to put you behind a bubble.
Like a fish.
Yeah, let people just walk through.
Put a sign on the door and say, "I'm sorry, we're busy. Please call ahead for a tour or something."
we have that on the door. We actually have that.
Well, you watch any of the big, like Joe Martin has clearly on the show. They always show it. Visitors enter by the office, you know, or Dan Short basically. They only would do tours on Friday, and when they got to capacity, they shut it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wouldn't. I mean, and we did the tour on a Friday. It was an amazing tour. I know he had slowed it. Hopefully, you guys had a chance to do it. But yeah, I mean, you can't do that, man. You got bills to pay.
And you know, we were gonna
Motion
put the
detected in the
showroom
front yard.
right next to the shop because there's these old windows that we have that we were gonna put back in that we took out of the building, out of our shop. and we were to put those back in, put the showroom in there, and then that way I could just keep on working, and people would be able to walk up in the showroom, buy some stuff, and then look in the shop, you know. But it's just after a while it gets aggravating, you know. You're just like, you know, because we had a bunch of guys working for us, but now we got rid of all those guys, and it's just me right now. So,
Damn.
so you know, you're working twice as hard trying to get stuff done, and it seems like you're going backwards sometimes, you know.
All right, Arco, that's it. I'm coming up there. I'm gonna take. We're gonna get busy.
I've been waiting for months, man.
We're gonna get busy. It's gonna be an Arco cover man. What's it called? Conglomerate. You know, get something going.
Hey, Lewis, you know what would happen though? He'd get there, we'd never get him out of the freaking junkyard.
Yeah. Man, did you see that video?
Oh, you ain't seen nothing, bro. You should see all the cars that came in there now.
Oh, really?
Oh,
man.
God. It's insane, bro.
Listen, don't let my wife see it, man. She's gonna rob you.
Yeah.
I was talking to Aaron the other day, and he's like, he's got 8 more and 8 more and 8 more, and I'm like, how many you been bringing in? And he says, well, I got 2,500 cars in the cities we're bringing in.
Wow.
He's been bringing just cars and cars and cars in there since the last time I talked to you guys. There's probably over 100 cars in there added. You know.
Oh my goodness.
The tri-fives, the 55, 6, and 7s. It used to be like,
oh no, here we go,
or something, and now it's a whole junkyard in itself.
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna check them out when we head over that way to SEMA. I'm gonna stop, man. We're gonna check them out.
Whose phone's beeping over there?
What'd you say, Scott?
I said, whose phone's beeping like crazy over there?
Phone's dinging.
Me.
No. Hey, where's Chassis John tonight?
He's in Colorado.
What's out there? Vacation?
Vandermeer Speedway.
Oh, nice.
Went to see a race.
Yeah, we just had a guy call me that moved here from Colorado to Minnesota, and that was last night, I guess it was. And I was talking to him today a little bit, but he wants a truck built. He was showing me the truck, and I'm like, it's already a show truck. I don't know what you want done to it, you know. But I guess he's got a whole bunch of stuff that he wants tricked out on it. So I'm like, well, you'll have to get in line because we got a 2-year waiting list right now. So
God bless, man. All right, Arco. That's what I'm saying. I like it.
Hey, Terry, I got a personal question to ask you. Every time Finnegan brings blasphemy out, do you get mad?
Hey,
hear me.
Oh, that car! I love watching that car run, man. It's
it's what it is. He built it, and it's a serious ride. That car's no joke.
Have you guys seen the latest video that he took Cletus McFarland out in the boat, the twin turbo Hemi Game Over boat?
No, I didn't see that,
dude. It's so hilarious. The boat is something.
So is he a boat guy or a car guy? Which one first?
I think he's originally a boat guy.
Okay.
I mean, he's done if Finnegan Marine and Speed, I think that's what it stands for, the hats that he wears and stuff. But I mean, that boat he's got 3 or 4 of them, but that one boat, man, it's a big nasty Hemi, twin turbo Hemi. I mean, it's just stupid. And but he's down in Georgia, so he's not too far from some of you guys.
Yeah, he's down in Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to get Mike Cotton to get those guys on, but they are so busy. It's crazy.
Oh man,
they're doing a lot of hustling.
Yeah,
you got it, man. The time, you got to take full advantage of while you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Because you don't know if it's going to last, season to season. So
Yeah.
But no, Blasphemy is a nice car. It would be nicer than 56. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But it's 55, so we have to accept it.
Yeah.
Hey Terry, you flying to Vegas or you driving?
I'm flying.
Come on, man. You a car guy, man. Let's ride.
The bus. Get that bus done.
Get the bus done, yeah.
All right, listen. Everybody send.
I can fill that bus up now.
Listen, everybody send a roll of duct tape so we can get it done.
And put some of those seats back in.
Yeah. So listen, I'm gonna leave Ohio and hit Arco's joint. We're gonna team up with them and just ride, man. You ain't got nothing else to do. Just come on.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Pick me
I
up
didn't buy my
next
ticket yet. Yeah. But if I go, my boy Kenny and Nelson got to come.
Hey, we ride, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, the thing is, we do a whole video all the way across. You know what I mean? Start out in New York, and you hit Ohio, and we bounce over.
Thank you, Heidi.
Hey, Terry, not to be a dick or nothing, but if you give it about 2 days with Heidi and you want to kill yourself.
Oh no!
I think it'd be 2 days on the road. I'd just be like, I want to go home.
Hey, you're stupid.
Break out the harmonica.
Hey, honestly though, when Heidi and I go on road trips, it is the most funnest I've ever had, man. We have such a blast. You know what it is though, is everybody's always in a hurry. They're always on schedule. They're always got to do this. We're like, whatever happens. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Get in the car and go.
Just go.
That's what we're gonna do on the way back, man. We're gonna camp out a couple places on the way back. I'm gonna take the whole week coming back.
You know what we should do? We should all go out there. We all meet up and I don't know, go to Hoover Dam or something.
Yeah,
we
can.
I don't know why. I mean, we're there. Let's go to the damn dam.
And do burnouts.
Canyon.
Yeah, do something,
The last time I was at the dam, my son was, I think he was 8 years old, and we lost him for like 4 hours.
Oh my God!
Wow.
I had a heart attack, bro. I swear to God,
Damn.
I thought I was gonna die. Like I was scared to death. I've never been that scared, man.
Oh, that's terrible.
We had a bunch of people there for this football school league thing going on, and everybody started walking away. And I'm like, "Where's Johnny Suede?" And I'm looking around for him, and they said, "Well, he was just right here playing video games in this arcade thing inside the Hoover Dam deal. They had like games for kids and whatever." And so I went, "Well, maybe he went back to our minivan, I went hauling ass up there, and it took me like almost an hour to get up there and get back. And I get back, and I'm like, "Is he back?" And they're like, "No, we don't know where he's at." Everybody, we had people all over the place, just because we had like hundreds of people there with us with all the school and stuff, and we had everybody looking. And literally like 4 hours later, or whatever it was, somebody says, "Oh, here he is." The whole time we were looking, he literally had his back turned to us playing a video game. He was right there the whole time.
Man.
Damn.
Oh wow!
I was so mad, but at the same time, I was bawling like a little bitch.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, I'm feeling it now. Just telling me, man.
Yeah, me too.
Terrifying.
And then of course he looks at you and say, "Well, what's wrong?"
What's wrong? What are you doing, Dad? He's like, what's mad with you? Give Terry a 56.
Hey, yeah, I like how you threw that in there.
We'll give you a 55.
Hey, I don't care what it is, long as it go down the street.
70 Chevelle.
Terry, we're just going to solve the whole problem. Just give you a 53, a wannabe. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
And just start out with the real box. I'm saying.
Actually, the 53 54s, that's one of my favorite years of Chevys. I like the old.
Brian, see, like I could have got you when you were talking about the headlights. But I said no, because last time I kind of got on you and you were just like, what did I do? And I felt bad. So I was like, let me just let that one just slide on out of here, okay?
Now kids.
Now I'm kind of regretting it.
Grow up, children.
So Terry, how familiar are you with Johnny Cash? You know any of his songs?
I've been everywhere, man.
So he talks about the Cadillac,
Yes.
all the years. You can do that with the Chevrolet. Make a plethora.
I got something in mind. I got something in the works.
Yeah.
But see, like I said, everyone thinks I'm a Chevelle guy, but I'm technically a Camaro guy. I love Chevelle, don't get me wrong. But
69.
I'm 69, and the car, if someone says, okay, Terry, build yourself a race car, any kind of race car, it would be probably a 79, 80, 81 Camaro. Because
really?
I had so many of those cars.
Okay.
And I'm just so comfortable in that car. It's just that, like when you sit in the car and it's just like, ooh, okay, this is it.
It's you, right?
I just had I must have had about 40 of those cars. And when I say I'm also including from 74 to about like 81. That was the year. I never had a early second gen. I never had like a 70, 71, 72, 73 split bumper. I never had that Camaro, but I had 75 on up to 81. Yeah. And I'm also including Trans Ams in that. So that F body is it's just a comfortable fit.
I remember it well.
Yeah, if I was to race a car, I'd be like, okay, I'm looking for 80 Z28, 79, 77, whatever.
I'm with you, man, because I had a 71. It was an RSSS
Mhm.
with a big block, and I never felt more comfortable in a car in my life.
Yeah.
It just fit me just perfect.
No, but don't get me wrong, because I never had, growing up, I never had a Chevelle up until this was my first Chevelle that I do all the videos with. And I was just like, once I got in that, I was like, ooh, this is kind of nice and roomy. All right. This is nice. As I get bigger, I get a bigger car. But then when I got my 69 Camaro, I was just like, see, this is what I've been waiting for. But then you realize this is kind of a small car.
Right.
Hey, Terry, what's going on with your Chevelle that you just had painted?
I was telling them I'm doing you remember that frame boxing kit that I did on the 67? I'm doing that on the 71, but the body's on the car. Because I opened my mouth up and I said I would. So now I had like 300 subscribers and
As soon as you said that, I knew it. I was like, oh, he's hit.
Oh my God. And you know what? I'm even keeping it old school. I'm keeping it true because like one of my buddies says, Terry, he has a lift in his house. Right. And he was like, just do it here in my house. I was like, I really want to. I really, really, really want to. But I want to do it so people could relate to it because not everyone has a lift in their house. So I'm going to videotape it and show that it can be done on your back.
I'll send you a pair of those Harbor Freight jack stands. That new Chevy plastic jack, bro, to be good.
Hey, Terry.
I wouldn't even put that on my Schwinn.
Terry, I didn't send him any message, man. I didn't start that.
Oh, that's funny.
Don't do that, Brian. Yeah, don't lie to me, Brian.
Hey, Terry, are you a fan of 64 Chevelles?
I like the 65.
I don't know if you can see it. I had a 64 I restored back in 89.
A 64 is a nice car. I like them, but the 6. Okay, here's how it goes. Okay, it's either 67 or either 71. It's either or any given day. Those are my favorites. Immediately after that, 69.
I hate the 69. I like the 68 better. The taillights look so much better.
No, 69 is a better looking car. The grill looks better.
And the 66 I hate, but I love the 67.
But then after that, 65 Chevelle 2-door wagon. That's on my bucket list. I got to get that wagon. I like that 65.
We see you, Heidi.
Peekaboo.
Sneaking in there.
Hey,
Heidi in there. I see her. Look at her.
I gotta disagree. My favorite year is the 66. I've owned one, so that's
no. 67 is a better looking car.
Negatory, man.
No positivity, man. I'm telling you.
No.
I only like the 65.
No, the 66 the back of the 66 looks better, and the front end of the 66 looks better.
No,
they both look better.
This conversation's over. Good night.
I have to go with the 69s all the time because that's my year I was born.
Cool.
Lou's like, that's my year I was born.
Yeah, I got to go with the 69.
Hello.
Probably not.
No, but I like the 65 station wagon. I like that 2-door wagon. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
We got Mike Liner in the house. What up, Mike?
I'll buy one of those, just put surfboards on the roof. Don't even surfboard.
well, the 64 two-door, the taillights I think are the same on the back. So it's just
It's not a pretty car like the 65. The grill is different. I like the 65.
Hey,
I only like the 65 is the Z16 with the different trim on it, like on the back and stuff. It just looks nice. Otherwise, I don't know. I've never been a fan of the 65, but I wouldn't mind building a clone. And
I might even take a 65. I might even take a 65 over 68. I would. Yeah.
And here's the thing I like about the 64 over the 4, and like an SS, got the trim across the top of the fenders and the doors. The 65, it's like blah looking. They don't have that trim, so it just looks really plain and boring.
And that's the beauty.
That's why I have a 65 Pontiac.
Arco, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was wondering if you guys can hear me all right.
Yeah,
It's still very low in volume.
Lower as you go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Mike Liner's in the house. What's up, Liner?
What about now, you guys?
Much better.
Oh, there you go.
Cool. Thank you. All right.
What'd you do?
I don't know. She waved her little magic wand and did something.
Thank you. Now you can turn the volume down.
I dream of Jeannie. I used to have the worst crush on her.
Who didn't, man?
Out there, man.
You know?
We don't need to know all that.
I'm waiting for a Pepsi can to bounce off my head right now.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, it's about that time for me to head on off.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go upstairs to you guys. I'm starving, man.
Hey Terry, get with me later on this week.
Definitely want to get with everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Except that Brian.
Except Brian.
Except that Brian. Yo, what y'all think about my NASCAR video?
Sweet.
It was a trip.
Yeah.
Quaker State. That was cool.
Yeah, man. I'm excited for you, man. The stuff keep popping up for you, man. That's sweet.
Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed, man. I mean, like, the only thing I could do is just, try to, like, just keep on trying to put some good content out and do it in a cool way.
Hey, I would love to get one of those kits, man.
The Quaker State kit, you need one.
I need one.
You need one.
Yeah, yep.
You definitely need one. Let me see what I can do.
All right.
Like we were talking last week, Marco. I started getting the ads on Instagram for that Yes Welder.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They're probably just like listening to my phone.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. If you're talking about Yes Welder or anything, I mean, just say Jeep Cherokee, and tomorrow a Jeep Cherokee commercial will start popping up.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah. Always looking good. It looks nice.
look at Heidi out there. Oh man.
Well, hey people, I gotta go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat some dinner too, man. I'm starving.
Yeah.
Nope, that's a SEMA, bro. Good night, you guys.
All right, I'll see you guys next week.
All right, everyone, be easy. I'm gonna head on off myself. Like I said, I got a Pop-Tart waiting.
Hey, hold on 1 second. I just got off with Joe Connington. I think she's gonna be on next week.
Oh, sweet. All right, cool. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, so you'll see the advertisement pop up.
Cool. Bye, guys.
All right, later.
Take care, everyone. Mike,
see you guys next week.
Ray,
Good night.
Marco, Brian, Lewis.
Good night, guys.
Everyone, take care.
Be good.
That one right there.
I don't know. Disappear.
Oh, you guys are staying on?
We always stay on. Did 3 hours last week, dude.
I can't hang with you guys, man.
I gotta talk to Ray, see if everything's going okay.
Right. We gotta catch up. This is how we do.
Yeah,
this is
we
how
gotta
we
talk
social.
Shh. Don't tell Terry, but we gotta talk about you when you hang up.
Right.
This conversation's over.
Only because I love you.
I understand. Are you? Hey, Brian, are you going to SEMA this year?
No, I really want to, but
I'm at Brian. I'm hanging with Brian this year. Well, neither one of us.
I every year it's one of those things that I try to plan, but with the business, it's so hard for me just to take off like for our tool expo. I got to start literally 2 months beforehand because of the money and the tool bill and everything else. It's kind of crazy.
Well, let me ask them, how far are you from Ocean City, Maryland?
Ocean City, it's roughly, if the traffic isn't bad, about a 4.5 hour drive or so.
Oh, okay, because I'm going to be in Ocean City eating some seafood in a couple of weeks. And I was thinking if you were like an hour away, I'd definitely cruise on out. But you talk about 4 hours, and
no. But
I'm going 4 hours.
When are you going to be down? When are you going to be down? Because well, it depends on when it is.
I'll reach out to you, let you know, because I'm not fully sure either. I'm just going to be just the chauffeur and jumping in the car and taking everyone everywhere. And
yeah, because like I said, if I tell the kids we got a day at Ocean City, I'm sure they're all piling, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It'll be my treat for dinner. So just think about that.
So yeah, but let me know, because if it's doable, it's not a big man.
Cool. We can bring Ray. We got to kidnap Ray.
I want to drive up.
Listen, I've had some conversations. I know the way Brian eats. You better be careful about saying I'm picking up dinner.
It just came out of my mouth. I realized that as soon as I didn't realize what I said.
I know.
That was one of those things. I never said that.
My phone one day sent Ray my location, and I was down. We have a crab place. It's called Rough and Ready Crab. A crab joint. And back in the day, it was a rough bar to go to. So
bar serves crabs.
yeah, well,
I thought it was like
we're
a
in
gay
Maryland.
bar or something, like when you eat like the Blue Oyster, and you get the clams on the side.
Ocean City they had a really good car show, and I know the cops
don't bring it
took
back to
over.
cars.
And
We're talking about oysters.
I don't know what happened
Actually,
after that.
it wasn't the car show. I mean, it wasn't. They have the Endless 50s, or it's a 50s group, and it's sponsored by them, and it's got all makes and models of hot rods. But after that car show was the tuner guys, the imports.
It was after that one, though, I think.
And
when they went, Pro Streets.
No. When the tuner guys came in, they got a little out of hand.
They always do.
And they said, that's it, no more. So when the next year came up, when they went to get the permit for the event, they said no. Well, now they moved up to Atlantic City or Ocean City in New Jersey for their event. But they make a point of coming through Ocean City in Maryland and terrorize for, the 45 minutes of having fun or staying a night or whatever. But it's a real mess. But they do, they have a Harley, they have a motorcycle, then they have the Endless Summer, and they had a few, like I said, and then they had those, it used to be called H2O, I think is what they were, but they were tuner guys, those Japanese. And
I know they had the show. I thought it was right after the tuna one. It was all Pro Streets and Customs, and all these guys that slammed the ground, the blowers, and they were pulling people over for giving them tickets for, and it was pissing off a lot of people.
That mixes in with the other hot rod one. There's actually a really good video. It's what was that called? The King of Ocean City. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
And there's it's a car. And you can hear him before you even see him. You're hearing him coming down the road, and you don't even know where the hell he's. And they got people all looking all over the place, and he just comes out on one of the side streets. I mean, it is unbelievable the stuff that was down there. But yeah, the tuner guys were really kind of wound up. And
I gotta tell you something funny. There's I go a couple different ways from work to the other work to the shop, and a lot of it's side streets if the parkway's busy. And I've been going through Hempstead, which is a big town, integrated town, and on this one stretch of road, there's 4 or 5 consecutive intersections. And in every intersection, I just saw these giant donut circles in every one of the intersections. And then one day when I went down there, it was an Acura backed into this one driver. I'm like, you're the kid, aren't you? I know you are. You came out, you just freaking donut at every freaking intersection, and
yeah.
Yeah, that's what they do. They stop traffic. They stop, sit there. You see the video. I'm just wow. I never thought about that, and even if I did, I'd be with my luck, I'd be doing donuts, and as I go past, I see my father right in a car.
Yeah.
Oh no!
They got that down here on the Beltway. They've done that. There's a couple videos. If you do that on YouTube, there's a handful from the Maryland area where they've done that down here. And there used to be Coffee and Donuts, a pretty big show, and they just shut that one down. And the one that I go to all the time on Sunday mornings, they've been trying to get us. They had actually closed. We used to be in the old shopping center, and they went in there one Wednesday night and destroyed the whole place.
Oh, wow. And
the guy came back and said, I don't care. I mean, you guys aren't here anymore. And so it's pretty tough. It's hard to show that respect one way or the other,
Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah.
A million years ago, when I was in the hot rod, when I was driving the Mustang, and we used to hang out in the parking lot, and the cop would roll through, and everybody jumped in, and got out, and I just sat there, fired the car up, and cruised on out and went down. And I don't know, he came up behind me and flicked the lights on, and I figured, here we go. And he walked up and he said, if your buddies just acted like you, we wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
Said, I sit here and watch, even when I'm in my personal car, I watch you drive up and down, the street here. And if they all just acted normal, there wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
Time and place for everything, man.
Yeah.
Time and place for everything.
Of course, the one officer that I blew by, when I blew by at 120, he wasn't happy about it. You know what I mean? So,
That was a Carlisle.
like I said, but it's they're cracking down. Now they got this whole exhaust thing. Now they got we're almost as bad as California, I think.
Brian, what is the law like? What's it like to register a classic car in Maryland?
Well, to be honest, Ray, it's been so long since I've had to do that. I have no idea.
Okay.
Anymore.
So I was just talking to Tony D'Agostino from Tony's Parts. He's in Delaware, and I told him, we want to come down and check out the area, and he gave me some ideas. And I asked him about that. I said, "What's it like with the classic cars?" He goes, "Oh, a car 25 years or older." He goes, "One time you got to do some paperwork. There's a fee, maybe like $40." He says, "And then no inspection." He says, "And every year they just send you another sticker." He goes, "You don't have to do anything after that. It's like free."
We have a hot rod. We actually have a hot rod tag, and then we have a historical tag that you can get. And again, like you said, it's a one-time thing, and you're getting a sticker. The only problem is that they technically you got to watch your mileage because they'll ask for mileage.
Okay.
What you're driving. So if you're driving it, because that's the problem we have now. We got guys that have a Ford Taurus and they put historical tags on it because it's 25 years old and not in production anymore. And they're driving it every day, and that's not what you're supposed to do.
Right.
That's not what that tag's for.
Right.
And then of course, now they get it's just that they just don't go after that one those type of people. They go after the whole group.
Everyone.
Yeah, but I gotta say, unless a guy is doing power tour and crazy stuff, I don't know anybody who puts 10,000 miles on their hot rods in a year.
I don't think I put 10,000 miles on my Chevelle ever.
I know.
Well, since the tool truck, I don't put any. My 07 F350. I think I just hit 80,000 miles on it.
Did you get the head job done on that truck?
I'm still working on it. The last 10 days have been an absolute disaster.
Oh, wait, so that means the last 10 days are tacked on to the 10 that were before that.
Yeah, well, the 7 weeks without the tool truck was already a pretty tough with the business, and then the last week and a half has just been it's been unbelievable.
Last we left off, you were bringing the truck back to the guy. What happened?
Yeah, I got the truck back. He found a stuck DEF injector.
Fellas, I have to take off because I got to do a what's it called, a bedtime story.
No problem, Terry. It was good talking to you.
Always a pleasure. I will definitely be in touch with you, Brian.
Yeah, man.
Take care,
man.
Take care, Adam.
Yep. Yeah. So he said it was a stuck DEF injector was stuck open.
Okay.
And so he replaced that, and
so what does that do? It just injects the DEF fluid.
Yeah, it injects. Right, it injects, and I guess for whatever reason, again, there's a set of solenoids, and I guess if it doesn't close, or it was sending a single to open and it wasn't, or whatever, never saw an open single. So we got that done, and to be honest, I'm a little scared driving it.
Wow. So why couldn't you diagnose that with the scanners that you have? Why didn't that pick that up?
Well, see, this is the whole problem that the second time I didn't do, and I mean, the second time I never put my scanner on it.
Okay.
I acted up the second time. When I called him, he said before it goes in lockdown, when it goes into limp mode and locks down to 5 miles an hour, bring it here. And
that's a fun thing to do.
Like
that's a fun thing to do. Drive it in limp mode.
Well, luckily it has 3 stages of limp mode. The first one, it won't go over 50. The second one won't go over 30. And then the third and final kiss of death is it won't go over 5.
Right.
And so from learning my lesson from the first time, these are all in basically 30 to 50 mile ranges.
Oh, okay.
It's a countdown. This isn't like,
right
later on. This is it starts to beep at you, and like the beeper gets louder and faster.
Christ.
And,
How many miles on that truck?
Huh?
How many miles on your truck?
51,000.
Imagine that happening at that point.
Shouldn't.
Oh, well, it's a Ford though, so maybe if it was
no,
a Chevy.
No, this is my
tow truck.
This is my Isuzu.
Oh.
This is my Isuzu. And the thing that really upsets me more is that when I took over the lease, or this was from the lease company, they tell me it's got a 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty on this emissions. Well, Isuzu tells me it's only 350. 3 years, 50,000 miles.
Oh man.
So
outside of that.
Yeah, so it's this whole round robin thing about what one company is saying and another company and going back and forth. I don't know if I'll ever get any of my money back or the point, but the problem I have now is that, and it's done it twice now, there's a little gauge that tells me when it's going to regen, when it's going to clean that DEF filter.
Right.
And it should, after like 20 minutes of driving, when it gets to a certain point on the gauge, after about 20 minutes of driving at over 30 miles an hour, it should self-regen and drive mode.
Right.
Well, it hasn't done that yet. And actually, like tonight coming home, it got to the point where it said, you need to regen now, pull over and do a manual regen.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me twice now, where I had to stop, pull off on the side of the road, and then fiddle around with this damn thing to get it to regen, and I got to sit there for 20 minutes.
Oh, Christ.
It takes anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes to regen.
Wow.
And the last time it did it during the day, which is okay if I'm in a shop area where there's 5 or 6 shops. I can just leave it running and walk away.
Yeah.
If I got to get in the truck and drive 2.5 blocks down the street, I got to wait 40 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about time is money. I mean,
you got to get an old Grumman, panel truck and start putting shelves in it.
Well, like I said, the only thing that really, even though my old tool truck was very ugly, in the 16 years that I had it, it only missed 1 week's of work.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's when I rebuilt when I had to rebuild the transmission. I took trans out and put the what's that thing called? The stator gear, or
okay.
It was only stuck in reverse. So it had no forward gears, and there's a what's that thing called?
The planetary?
Well, it's a stator.
Well, there was a stator, yeah.
Stator gear assembly or whatever.
But that's part of the planetary, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It had a drum with 5 or 6 plates in them, and it had gears.
So basically, your family came home and are all pumped up and happy from Disney, and now they got to hear you and they're like, Dad, we left you for like 2 weeks, and we came back, and you're like the Grinch. who
Yeah.
got ripped off by Christmas. Like, what's the matter with you?
I know. Yeah. Like I said, it's just been one thing after another.
Yeah.
So Ray, except for today, we've had like nasty rain like almost every day. Yesterday was humid as hell. You've been getting it out your way?
We have had bouts of rain. Like last week, we had a lot of it, and now the last few days, it's been good. It's been humid. It's been humid up here. You know, I've been coming home from the shop. I get in my suit. I'm in the pool. It's like chlorine bath, cleanse me. It's like, oh, it feels so good.
Yesterday in our shop, the floor, you could see the cement floor was like soaking wet. It was so humid.
Yeah, it sweats. I know.
Yeah.
That's me. I've been under the dash of this freaking Buick. It's like trying to keep fans going, and like I'm just sweating. My shirt's sticking to me. I'm like, this sucks. It's like, where am I working? In the Amazon? You know?
Time to retire.
Well, the funny thing is, that's not even my regular job. The regular job I am retiring from. I got just about a year left, and I'm done. That's why I'm looking around at relocating. Like next month, we're going down. My wife wanted to see Charlotte and Raleigh in North Carolina. I don't think that's going to be a state for me, tell you the truth.
Like Dan said, I think Virginia actually is a.
Dan was saying Virginia, yeah. You know, the politics in Virginia right now are a little wonky.
Just ignore it all.
Everywhere's a little wonky.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know, I had that nice conversation with Tony D'Agostino. He was explaining to me in Delaware. He goes, we got 3 counties, and the big one, what the hell's the name of it? That's where Biden lives in the Manchester, Winchester, something like that. That's the big one. He says that's the tail that wags the dog of the whole state. That's where all the money is. It's like Manhattan here.
Go to Rhode Island.
Is the voting block. That's the Democratic voting block. Long Island, where I am, has millions of people. We got like 8 million people. We outnumber them, but they got the vote, and they pretty much wagged the whole state.
Go to Rhode Island. That's a great state.
So yeah, I'm looking to get a little better weather though. So I'm looking to go a little south. So he was telling me like if you're looking at Delaware, the further south you go, the better. You know, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but then it gets too hot.
Well, yeah, but actually where I am now has been getting nicer and nicer. I mean, yeah, we have summer. It gets hot. It's been hot since I'm a kid. I know what heat is like. I don't like it, but it is. It's summer. And we get snow, So I know what that's like, too. I like to get away from – I wouldn't mind being outside. Like I told my wife, I'm conditioned. I can work outside in the 30s. In the 50-degree weather, I'm wearing just a flannel shirt. I'm conditioned for that. I may not work outside all day in the 30-degree weather, but I can do stuff. I'd rather not have to have a heated garage, because I don't have a well-heated garage now. It's cold, and then in the winter, I don't do shit outside. I just don't. I stay inside. So, now as I'm entering that as my chiropractor says, you got on the football field of life, you got more yards behind you than you have in front of you. I'm thinking like, I want to be able to do more, and I'm more productive when it's warm. And not hot, but when it's warm, I just feel better. So I think it's the right move to go somewhere where it's going to be a little warmer.
Yeah.
I was ready to go to Maryland to be Brian's neighbor, and he talked me out of it. He says, no, it sucks. I watched the
I'd love for you to come down, right?
What's that, Brian?
I'd love for you to be down here, man. That'd be awesome.
Me too. I would. I really would. I would. But if we do end up in Delaware, I'm I guess across the bridge, right?
Yeah.
I get a boat.
Again, like I said, I like the location where I'm at because, of course, I'm not much of a beach person or a mountain person, but 4 hours, I'm either at the beach or I could be in the mountains. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on what you like doing, or weather-wise. I mean, you go a little bit more south from us, and it's a whole different world of weather compared to how cold it gets.
We've been sitting out on the deck in the evening, when the humidity breaks, and like tonight there was this breeze, and I told my wife, I said, you're not going to feel this in the middle of North Carolina. Like that's an ocean breeze that we get because I don't know, the ocean is south of me by maybe, I don't know how many, 8 miles. You know, I mean, we do get an ocean breeze. I know if I go into Queens, into, you know, closer to the city, it could be 20 degrees hotter there. And you just feel it. That city heat. I drive back here as soon as I come down the Parkway, especially on a motorcycle or the convertible, you hit a point and the temperature just drops. And and I'm not in the country. I mean, it's that the ocean air, you know,
it's really bizarre. Where I live, where I'm at, is a changeover point in the weather.
Uh-huh.
So when I was dating Jenny, her parents had a house about 3 miles from where we're living now. So I could leave her house, her parents' house, and it would be raining here at their house. And when I get to where my house is, or a little bit past, 4 miles up the road, it was snow.
Yeah, wow.
And my parents were out in Olney, or actually Brookville, so that's another 5 miles from there. So the snow, you can see the temperature change.
Right.
I used to feel that all the time in my convertible. I'd leave her parents' house and drive on up the road, and I get, like I said, I get a little bit past where I'm at now, and it was a world of difference in the temperature. I mean, it was like 20 degrees difference, you know, just that big shock change.
That's exactly what happened when I was dating Linda. She was in Queens, and, you know, I'd be out there, and on the way home, like I'd be riding my motorcycle. It'd be like, 2, 3 in the morning. And I would hit that spot on the Parkway where it would just get colder, and wow, it would wake me up.
Yeah.
Like, well, shit, now I don't want to go home now. I'm wide awake. So I go over to the bar, see who's out, check the bar scene again, see who's out, last call. And, it's like, oh man, it was killing me. I said, I got to start leaving earlier because like it's late.
Yeah. No, but it's really weird because, like I said, I've been here. I mean, we've lived here for 20, let's see, Brianna's 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 26 years.
Uh-huh.
And it's so funny because, we'll have a dusting of snow here and I'll call my mom and dad and they'll say, oh, well, we got 6 inches.
Yeah.
And it was just such a changeover point.
Right.
Where we're at. It's kind of weird how that is.
And they're further north from you.
Yeah.
Right. How far down in the state are you?
Well, we're literally kind of in the middle of it.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's I'm a little bit above. I mean, it's like I said, I'm 30 miles roughly from DC. From Northwest DC. So like I said, if you look on the map, I'm pretty much in the middle of the state. Yeah. And so like I said, and then like Jenny's dad's all the way up in the mountain. He's out in up in the mountains, and that's a whole nother world up there. I mean, he's not as far as Frostburg. There's a state college. Oh, it used to be a state college. It's a college up there. That's where my mom went to, Frostburg. It's a teacher's college. But, Cumberland and that area, the railway, I mean, that's like when we get 6 inches, they get 1.5 feet.
That's FJ territory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I'm heading to bed, guys.
All right, Scott.
Bed. All right, Scott.
Take care of yourselves.
Be easy.
Stay out of the hot sun.
Yes, sir. Humidity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, crazy. Well, that's the thing. Like when you're talking about relocating out of an area you've lived all your life, I'm talking to people about just like the basic quality of life stuff. Like we were talking a while ago about, how do you heat your house? And I was surprised when you said you guys use oil. Everybody else in the world, it's electric, forced air, or propane. Yeah. I'm like, oh man, I have oil and gas in my house. I got both.
Yeah.
I love my gas stove. I don't want an electric stove. I'll go with propane before I use electric.
Yeah.
Just that stupid stuff. Like, I grew up, we have sewer systems. Like I know a lot of places don't. They have septic systems. And like you got to learn how to handle that,
I'm in an odd position on that because for about 50 years, they want to put the intercounty connector, and that ran east to west road, and I was ground zero. My house was option A, where they were going to put that road. So,
oh, it's a road. Okay.
No,
I was trying to figure out what the intercounty connector. I don't know if it was a gas line or a bridge or.
Oh no, it was a roadway. I mean, it was like see, the Beltway kind of runs in a big circle.
Yeah.
Around. It's like a runs around, and they wanted to, there's not that many roads connecting east to west.
Right.
There's only like 4 major roads, and of course they're all either 2 lanes or single lanes. So traveling across the county is a pain in the ass.
Right.
With this intercounty connector that ran all the way across, and it was 5 lanes or 4 lanes or whatever it was, and we were ground zero, and so they did a lot of stuff around us. So that's why, like, I have city water, but I'm still on a septic system. I have a field and everything.
Right.
And and when they built all that stuff up around me, they all went right around and never, I was never connected to that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's why, and then they eventually, there's the town that I live in, or the town Spencerville, is a small town. It's a subdivision of Silver Spring area. Silver Spring is really huge if you looked at it on the map. And so we have, it was kind of ironic when every time they started this whole intercounty connector stuff, they found an Indian burial ground.
Oh boy, here we go.
So then, this, and then we have a cemetery that's really close to the road, and of course this was going to go through the cemetery, and they couldn't get all the sign-offs to move the bodies,
Right.
And
now it's turned into Poltergeist.
Yeah, so then it turned into this whole thing, and we actually we have Harriet Tugman. One of her Underground Railroad stops is right down the street from me.
Okay.
So then they had all this stuff in there, and they actually have her trail where there's 4 or 5 stops throughout the area.
Right.
And so, all the politics involved.
Sure.
So, of course, then eventually I don't know, it's been a while, I don't know. But they finally built the road on Plan C, and it's 6 miles down from me, or 7 miles away from me. But now, anytime you say you want, like I said, well, you're gonna hook me up to sewer, city sewer. Oh no, it's because it's not in the framework.
How far from 81 are you?
81.
Yeah, that's the big interstate.
I had to look on the map. I'm not that close. No,
not that close. Okay.
No.
I know that's what I'll be taking down.
70. Let's see, 81.
81 to 78, I think. Yeah. Pick up 78 in Virginia.
Yeah, I would have to look on the map and see how far it is.
Okay. Well, that's what I was telling Linda. I said, we're talking about cesspools, and I said, listen, for us, it's not going to be a problem. I said, we're like a single couple, like we're not making a lot of waste. So, my daughter may come with us, but I said, there's one rule you got to follow. And she goes, what's that? I said, remember, we used to go to my friend's parents' lake house in Pennsylvania back in the 70s, and they had a cesspool. They lived down here where there were sewers, but they had a sign in the bathroom over the toilet, and it said, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, wash it down. I said, that's all you got to do. That's all you got to worry about. I said, I think Lou was telling me a while ago, he goes to Tractor Supply and buys this big bag of, like, I don't know, it's like some kind of, maybe you were telling me.
Yeah.
Microbes that you dump in
yeah.
the system, they eat all. I said, so you just got to do a little bit of work, and, so we're not going to be.
Well, if everything works, the biggest the biggest thing you gotta really watch out for. Food is terrible because it takes forever for food to break down.
Yeah.
Food is a no-no, and one of the biggest killers, really, because it settles and never washes, or it actually never breaks down, is coffee grinds.
Really?
So because if you pouring the coffee down, and like me, I'm a huge coffee drinker.
Yeah, me too.
And like I said, that sits in that tank and it just fills up. And like I said, if it does flow out, if it does actually get to flow out, it's going to actually get caught up in the gravel pit, and it's going to be like, a sand. It'll eventually start blocking.
So she said to me, so a garbage disposal will be a good thing, wouldn't it? I said, yeah, I guess it would. 'Cause it would macerate the food. It's not? Why not?
Because that food it takes forever for it to break down when it's in.
Wow.
And especially if you do a lot of food, especially a lot of meats and so forth.
So your garbage must stink. Because when I redid the kitchen a couple of years ago, we finally, for the first time, put in a garbage disposal. I love that freaking thing. I mean, we don't go crazy with it, but you can literally put almost anything down in this thing, and it just grinds it up, macerates it. It just sends it out. It's
the first couple of years we used ours like crazy because everything went down in the sink.
Yeah.
And then we had, like I said, we had an issue, and the guy came out, and he's like, how many people you got here? And we said, at the time it was 3 of us or whatever. And he's like, well, it shouldn't have been that bad. And of course, we open it up and look down in there, and he's like, and of course, once he starts pumping up and he's like, man, you got to watch the food. Long hair, the hair that gets down. Oh, it was what a mess.
Yeah. I know, because I'm the guy that cleans the drain in the bathtub, and I'm always pulling up these because I can just tell. I take a shower and I can tell the water isn't draining the way it should. I can just I pick it up right away. So I actually leave the screw loose, so I can do it while I'm in the shower. I unloose, I thread it. As I pull the thing up, that big mouse ball comes up. I'm like, yep, Jenny.
Not every night, but every couple of nights before I go to bed, I pour a little Clorox down in the drain.
Yeah.
And the Clorox dissolves. If you ever read the back of a Drano can, that's one of the top ingredients, and that melts the hair.
Oh, okay.
So I have a thing of Clorox underneath the sinks, and I just pour a little down each night, every couple nights.
Okay.
And that solves a lot of the hair issues.
Right.
All melted.
It's good to know.
So doing that way. But it's a mess, and of course in the county, in Montgomery County that I live in, which is kind of like your the money county, the wags the tail, you can't have a septic field anymore. So when I was having septic field problems, they were like, oh, well, you just got to have a tank and have to have a pump monthly or whatever. You know?
My God.
And I was like, yeah, right. So I said, why can't you just hook me up the sewer?
Yeah.
And that was actually it almost happened because we have a farm down the street here, and the kids lived on all 4 corners of the farm. They had a house, and one of them was a plumber. And when the father had passed, they were able to keep, I think it was 20 acres or 15 acres as farm as historical farm.
Yeah.
And the rest of it, they were able to subdivide out. But he had to put the plumbing in. And owning a plumbing company,
that helps.
He was able to dig the well and run the plumbing. And at first, that was the only thing really keeping us from becoming part of the Intercounty Connector, because they had originally thought that we had city sewage already.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of funny. One day, we had a little county car out there, and the guy's out there painting the lines, on the yard.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he's like, I said, "I know a little bit, I know that's water and this is power. I know what the lines are for, but there's no city sewage out here." And he goes, "Yeah, it says it right here." And I said, "Well, if you take that lid off and take a whiff, that's a tank.
Yeah.
Of city sewage."
Right,
So
right.
3 days later, we get a certified letter from the thing about where's your septic field.
Uh-huh.
See, mine runs behind the house, and my neighbor runs in the front.
Oh, okay.
It would have been.
Yeah.
And they came out and resurveyed, and like I said, that's when they were starting to talk about we were going to have our septic tank pumped and not a field anymore. So
I tell you, like I said, growing up with sewers, it's a great thing. It's so easy. But when when Hurricane Sandy hit in 2012, all of the water runoff, the sewers backed up. So there was raw sewage coming out of the sewer caps in the street. I mean, it was pumping up into people's houses, through the wash machines, through the toilets, through the kitchen sinks, through everywhere. I mean, first floors of houses had 4 or 5 feet of water in them. It was terrible. We were okay. We didn't get flooded here. But I saw the after effects of something. I know some people who had houses that were affected. And then I went to a seminar, and the guy was talking about this. It's just like a one-way valve they put in your septic line. And it's like, listen, after Sandy, if you were affected and you didn't get the message, you got no business being here, because if you don't put one of these in, it's just a one-way valve. It lets everything out, but it won't let it back. It's a backflow valve is what it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, man, I should dig up the ground, put one of them in just for general purposes, just in case.
I put one in. I had that. We had some, not that particular thing, but I put one in. Well, I put one in because when I started replacing the plumbing in the house, instead of going out by the street to turn the water off, I had a valve. I put a valve coming where it came into the house about 2 feet in. I turned the water out front, and then I put this valve in.
Yeah.
In the house, so I could turn it off here in the garage if I want to do anything,
Right.
And it was funny because we had a water main break that broke out, and the first time this happened, I didn't turn that valve off. So when they turned that water on, all the dirt and the sediment that was in the pipe washed up into the house and filled everybody's hot water heater up and everything. Oh, it was a mess.
Yeah.
And so I learned after that, we had another water main out here that had broke one time, and I came down and I told everybody the water's going to be off for X period of time, and turned that off and kept from filling up. That's when I put a filter in.
Right.
I put a filter in to see what was coming into the house.
Right.
And it had I don't know, it was about 18 inches or something.
Yeah, I put one of those in too. Same thing. It's a big one.
Yeah.
Just a big paper filter in a paper element.
Yeah. The first part of it, I took the paper filter out, so it's just so what I could see.
Yeah.
The water going through, and then when it came in, then I put one with a carbon filter and a regular paper or whatever.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
So I tell you, it was fun playing with the old scanners. Look at that old technology, man. Those old LED and LCD screens. It was
The little block writing.
yeah, one of them. Yeah, the two that I picked up from the UD guys did have the old block writing. They're old, but I had the Tech Ones. You know, two of the Tech Ones, the Vitronics.
I
mean, that was the deal, man. With the GM, the Tech One is the way, and the Tech Two. Those were the holy grails of scanners back then.
Yeah.
And then I got the BDM. It was from Standard Motors, the Borg Warner. They call it a BDM. Joe called it a big dumb machine, but that's another one that's actually, you know, it's a big honking thing, and for everything it does, like it doesn't do bidirectional control. I'm like, oh man, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to take control here.
Yeah, those like those Tech Ones and Tech Twos or whatever, you know, like I said, if you ever get like early 90s, well, I think all the way up to about 2002, maybe 2002, like if you get a Saab, and what's the other car? A lot of those, some of those European cars use that GM platform.
Okay.
It's the same tool. I mean, it's the same thing. I can't remember what was the other one.
I found something really weird too, because I had a Tech 1 and a Tech 1A, and they look physically identical except for that. And I found out the difference. They use a different cable interface. One of them, it's almost like a serial printer cable, it's like it's more than 5, maybe it's like 12 pins, and the other one was like a parallel connector where it slides in to like the car. So I didn't have the cable for the 1A. I only had it for the 1. So I guess maybe it's a faster data transfer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
you gotta put the cartridge in. It's like playing Game Boy or Sega. They use the cartridge.
Right. The only one I still have, I have an old ProLink.
Right.
I have a.
The other two I have in a car are ProLinks. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a ProLink, and that was that did all the way up to like that did my '89 Mustang.
Right.
89 up to like 90, I think.
Yeah.
But it's funny when I get that thing out and look at it.
Yeah.
And, I have a older OTC, the Genesis.
Okay.
An older one.
Yeah. One of the ones I picked up, it's an OTC 4000.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You know, and I plugged it in. The freaking thing works. You know, it was talking to the car. It was like, holy. That was funny. Like on this OBD Connect on the ALDL, it's a 12-pin ALDL. It's, you know, the OBD1, and typically, and every diagram I've seen show the upper right pins being A and B, positive, and ground. Well, in the A slot, there is no pin. There's a pin on B, which is positive, and you got to go down like to position 7. The bottom left is the ground, and I'm like, how come every diagram I'm seeing shows me A and B in the upper right, and this car has, you know, 2 and 7? Like, what the hell is going on with that?
Yeah, they did. They had that same. It was a pin thing. It was like the full size Ford, the Crown Vics was the same way, because it drove me crazy, because, you know, the guy would say, "Oh, my scanner won't work," and I was like, "Well, did you check the plug connection?" "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, do you have power where you're supposed to have power, and have ground where you're supposed to have ground?" Because they actually had a little changeover harness. If you know, it would convert it back. You know, convert it to
that must be scanner. Yeah. I have that. That's what's on there to give me the OBD1 end, and that must do the changeover, because it worked. I plugged it in. I had to use separate power and a cigarette lighter, and then the thing did fire up. I'm like, okay. I guess it's like a gender.
Man, that used to drive me crazy because, you know, and I would say, are you working? Because the first thing they say, my scanner's not working on this car. And I would say, well, is it a 90 Crown Vic, you know, a taxi cab or whatever? Yeah. I said, well, you got to get your little adapter out and do a change, you know, put that adapter in because the ground isn't where the ground's supposed to be on the plug-in.
Right.
Change that. Yeah, I don't know why they did that or had that happen.
I don't know.
It's supposed to make life easier.
But I tell you, those I have a set of Lyle relay sockets, the test sockets. That thing is so, it's invaluable. You know, just because it gives you just a row of pins that you can just test. The only thing I wish they did was they did label them with the relay terminal numbers, but it's also in black. If they would have done them in a highlighted numbering, I'm going to do it myself. It would have been a lot easier. I guess once you use it all the time, you know which one's which. But
yeah,
what a joy.
That socket set. I mean, the relay set's just the socket. I mean, the relays, right? It didn't come with the tester, did it?
No, it's just you pull the relay out, you put the socket in, and you put the relay in the socket.
Yeah,
and the socket gives you the like test pins.
Right, and then you have the little tabs where you can hook your meter to it and see if it's your voltage or amperage. Yeah.
This phone is always too bright, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, they have another one. There's another one where
Matco does have one. I saw it a while ago. There is a relay tester, which is pretty cool.
The relay tester, which is really nice because when you plug it in and you hit the button, it clicks them off like 15 or 20 times or something like that. And it'll tell you if the relay got stuck or if it never opened, if it failed. That's probably what happened. Yours were probably stuck shut like a points. You know what I'm saying in them?
Right. I'm looking at my tool wish list. I keep a running list here of things that I want for the future. And let's see. No. Brake line rethread, no. Long barrel air hammer, no. Carbides, no. Relay tester, RB192.
Yeah, that's the number.
$100. It's on my list.
Hey, you said something about the brake. What was the brake threader?
I did say. Well, let's see. I'll tell you. Let me go back into it. Where was I? Carb adjusting torque. No, the flex head line wrenches are on there. Oh yeah, brake line rethread kit. BRK TH993.
Yeah, that's
a brake line rethread kit. Was it rethread the fittings?
Yeah, they
why do I need that? I'll put a new line on it, but I wrote it down. So
if the if the threads inside the brake caliper are screwed up.
Oh, it's okay for that. Okay.
Yeah, or the master cylinder, and
right.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that's coming up on a deal.
Oh, good. Let me know.
Coming up on a deal. I remember seeing because I'm I don't even know where mine is. I was using it and I noticed that I was missing one of my fittings. And shit, what did I do with that?
Hey, last week Macco Michael showed that blue toolbox with the black trim. I think it was maybe it was a 2?
A 2S, yeah.
Sharp looking box.
Yeah.
But that blue is beautiful.
I'm putting one in Jenny's office this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, she's got a older 4 Series.
Right.
And when she was at Expo, she said, "Man, I really like that 2S." And I was like, "Well, I've already sold all of them." I said, "I'm ordering a handful of them. Me putting one more on my order just gives me a bigger discount." So,
all right.
I want one. And she's like, "Yes."
That's smaller than what she's got now, though, right?
No, same box.
Is it? Okay, I thought that they got bigger in size.
Yeah, the 2S and the 4S are the same box, same size, 56 inches, 25 inches deep.
Got it.
The difference is the drawer layout. See, the on the 2S they had bigger drawers.
Okay.
That's what she uses it for all her stuff.
Right.
And her arts and crafts and her office stuff. And the smaller drawers, it's too messy or too piled up,
So no, hon, on those smaller drawers, that's why you got to line it with some black velvet and you lay out your jewelry in there. All the bracelets, all the tennis bracelets I bought you, and the rings and the earrings and all of those nice diamond. That's what you put on that stuff.
So, but I don't know. I had I've sold a couple. I sold 2 or 3 of the 4 of the S's, the 2 S's. They're nice. They're actually not bad. It's just it's supposed to be an intro box. So
yeah.
It doesn't have it does have the power drawer, and it does have the power. It doesn't have the power. Oh, it has the power on the outside also. It's all powered.
And what is that? That starts like what, 4 or 5?
It's $3,000.
Oh, 3. Okay. Hey, he maybe the guy had some options on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
It's 3,600, I think.
Okay. That blue color is like. Speaking of, did you ever go and check out that survey with the colors?
Oh yeah. The funny part is I had to do the survey to check it out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, so that night I did the survey, and I thought it was kind of. There were some of the. I don't know if I can say this right. Some of the questions that they asked were the answers that they gave us.
I had a feeling that some of those questions they already knew the answer to. And I felt some of that stuff was very leading. And I was like, no, this isn't what I want to tell you. It's like, just ask me a question. I felt I was being put into a box.
Yeah.
And I wasn't happy with that.
Well, a lot of our surveys are that way. That's why I get kind of mad or agitated and sometimes they'll leave a spot for us to make a comment.
Right.
And then it's like, I noticed they have a limit, like it's only 250 characters.
Right.
It's like you're asking us a question, but like you said, they're leading us to what they want to, what they've already done or what they want us,
It's like, we want to hear what you say, what you want to say, but we only want to hear so much of it.
Right. We're going to do it our way anyway.
Clay did a whole nother video talking about that too, about how he wasn't happy with that damn survey either. And he made it very vocal. I was like, he's like, listen, if they want to ask about a color in a company, just do it. He's like, listen, nobody owns a color. Yeah, Snap-on, we think of red, and Cornwall's blue. Goes, but so what? He goes, who cares? If you want to come out with pink, you do it. I agree with him. Not only that, especially if the customers, if the people you're selling to are telling you, we want this, we'll buy this, I will buy the set of these. I even said it. I'll buy the set of those ratchets if they're in blue. And I don't need them. I got plenty of ratchets. I don't need any more ratchets. I just like the look of them.
Right.
And I mean, if that's what I call something, a customer you want to cater to, holy shit, if a guy's going to buy them or he doesn't need them because they're this color, how many do you want? We'll make them all day long.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. But
well, like I said, that's one of the things that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'll give you an example. I sold a box to a guy, okay? And so basically, not to get too deep into it, because it's through the credit system, our credit, Macco's credit, he was granted to $3,500 or $6,000 if he bought a box, okay? So I sold him a box. And so 2 days after I sell him the box, he says, hey, Brian, you're right. I want to put a hutch on it now. So I said, okay. I said, man, it's a pain in the ass with the paperwork stuff, but let me get the hutch ordered and we'll get this thing started. So, of course, I called back up and said, hey, this guy, you know, he wants to buy a hutch. Can we still add that on to, because, you know, he'll be up, you know, because he wasn't approved he was only approved for 3, but 6 with a new toolbox. And with the hutch, he's still in the $6,000 range.
Right.
I add that on. Does that count? Yes, for 30 days. He has 30 days that he could do this.
Okay.
I said, okay, well, we ordered one up. Here's the order number. But they're telling me it's 10 weeks back ordered.
Oh.
And they're like, oh, well, then he doesn't qualify.
No, it should be from when you ordered it, not from when they can deliver it.
Yeah. So I'm like, so you're telling me that a guy wants to spend an extra $2,500 and you're not going to let him because.
Yeah. Right. Because of bureaucracy.
Yeah. I said, I said, why is this being so difficult? A guy wants to spend money.
Yeah.
And you're saying no?
Right. Turning them away. That's crazy.
So I said, when the hutch comes, I said, I'll talk to your supervisor.
Yeah. I tell you, I'm like such a dinosaur. I've seen the hutches. For most people, I think it's a wasted piece of metal because it just becomes an enclosed junk collector.
Yeah.
I would be the guy that wants the upper box that fits on that lower box. That's what I would want, and that's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's like, I guess that's like the Level X. I guess that's what I would like.
Yeah, I'm not a really huge fan of the hutches. The only thing I like about the hutch, when it's closed, it's a clean look.
Yes. And
it's nice. But again, now at least with like our 6 Series box, you could have, a half hutch door. A half hutch, half drawers. So,
okay.
So like I said, if you wanted to keep your scanner and laptop up and have a little work area, you could do that, and it's nice.
That's
but
cool.
Most of the hutches to me just become a lot of waste of space.
Yeah, I think so. For
the money.
I just thought of something. You'll be a good guy to ask this. Here's an oddball question. This is totally, we're off tools now. We're totally shifting gears. We're going into like double reverse overdrive in 3rd gear. My wife actually found a wallet by the library.
Uh-huh.
So, and she brings it home, and it's got a guy's license that she thought was fake, but it's not, and some other ID card. So I got his name and address, and it's got like $450 in it. So I want to get it back to him, but the he's got a very ethnic name, Spanish name. There's a town away from me that's where he lives, which is heavily populated, and a lot of bad stuff goes on over there. And I'm thinking like, okay, I don't think I want him coming to my house, even though I'm giving him back his wallet with all his money. It's like, and she says, well, you're not going to meet him, are you? I'm like, well, yeah, I don't meet him. I don't care. I'm thinking, well, maybe I should, I'm trying to figure the best way to get this guy his wallet back. And I don't want to mail it because there's money in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to do. What would you do in a case like that?
I would have him meet me at a
police station.
Well, I'm not at a police. He probably wouldn't come.
No, he probably wouldn't go.
No, but I would have a public area. A fairly public area.
Yeah.
If it was, like I said, even if it was at a Target or a grocery store or something like that, just where there was at least you're out. In that area.
I would have met this guy anywhere, but now I'm reading the stuff that's going on in the papers, and it's like, all right, you roll up in your car. Now the guy's like, he's reading your license plate number. I mean, not that anybody can just trace a license plate, but he's probably going to bring some buddies. I mean, not that I'm doing him wrong. I'm doing the guy right. But in this crazy world that we're in, I really can't trust anybody that they're not going to just flip out, you know? So it's weird because I had that happen to me a couple times in my life. I found wallets and I always give them back. I found one in the middle of the highway, Sunrise Highway, years ago. It was right outside of a car wash. So I picked it up. I was on my motorcycle. I just pulled over. I scooped it up. I got home. I look at it. Yeah, guy's name. He was a town away from the car wash, which is like 3 towns away from me. There was like, I don't know, $150 in the wallet or whatever. And he was about college age. So I called him up and said, listen, dude, I found your wallet. My wallet. Where's my wallet? I'm like, did you lose a wallet? He's like, wait a minute. Where's my wallet? How'd you get my wallet? I said, I picked it up on Sunrise Highway. I said, did you get your car washed today? He's like, yeah. How do you know that? I was like, well, I found it in the middle lane of the highway right outside the car wash. And I kind of put 2 and 2 together. Like, did you put it on the roof and give the guy a tip and then took like you leave the baby on the roof or your coffee? Yeah. So, okay, we determined I had his wallet. And, there's probably nothing in it anymore. I'm like, listen, dude, you got all sorts of stuff in your license. That's how I got your name, looked up your phone number. I said, there's cash in here. There's like $150 in cash. You got a library receipt, 2 condoms, and, whatever else, a 10 millimeter socket, whatever. And he's like, yeah. So now he's really skeptical. I'm like, what do you want? What do you want? I'm like, I just want to give you back your wallet. It's like, I'll give you my address. Come to my house and pick it up. That's all I want you to do. It's like, I don't want to put it in the mail. There's money in it. And he was like feeling like I am now. It was like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. And I was like, look, I don't know how to make this any more safe for you. You want to meet somewhere else? Within reason, I'll meet you somewhere else. But I'm not going to go too far out of my way. I'm giving you back your wallet, and I'm not going to have you come here and then rob you. I already have your money. It's like I didn't have to call you in the first place. So I said, think about that. Oh, well, I said, look, I get it, but I said, you could probably tell by my voice that we're probably going to look alike, like we're, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, this isn't a setup. I'm not working for some other organization or whatever. And he finally did come. He came with his father, and the father was a nice guy. He was very apologetic, wanted to give me a reward. Like, listen, no, I don't need, it's okay. I said, talk to your son and just straighten him out on the way home that, he should be a little more trusting in humanity because sometimes people just want to help out,
Right.
And I was more pissed. Like, I wouldn't have taken a dime if he would have forced it on me at that point. It was like, no, that was principle. It was like, no, God damn it. I could give you your money back. I don't need it, So I found myself in that situation again. I'm like, damn, but now I got that added. We were talking earlier in the show about this kid I read about who got nabbed in the city. He was like 14 years old, carrying a gun. And the cops said to him, what do you, they brought him in and he says, they're like, what are you doing walking around with this gun? And he says, well, because there's other guys out there who want to do me wrong. And he says, I'd rather get caught with the gun and go through the system. He goes, you're going to let me out. I'm going to be out on the street anyway. He goes, I'd rather do that than walk around without it and then have to and need it. And he goes, I ain't doing that. He's a 14-year-old kid.
Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, like I said, that's kind of like that whole Facebook marketing and people meeting that. It's
right.
The last car that I sold out in front of my house. I had a friend for 6 months.
Right.
And it was like, never again. I was just like, dude, this isn't exactly what, I signed up for,
Right.
I just, I would, like I said, part of, to be honest, part of me says I just mail it to them, but I know but they don't know what's in it, but I know shit happens.
Yeah.
Hell, I know. I mean, fuck, I had a whole bunch of shit. I got to deal with the Postal Service or especially FedEx, dude. I deal with them all about shit lost or rerouted and sent, wherever. That's a never ending battle that so I know shit happens.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. And So, and hell, or like I said, I take so much stuff in, and I've had boxes, fall down in between the seat on the passenger side, and it's like 2 weeks later, I open the passenger door up and a box falls out, and I'm like,
yeah.
Shit, where did this come from? So
that happened in the FJ. If I put something on the seat, it's happened to me twice. I would make a turn, it would slide off the passenger seat, and then boom, over. I hear it hit the door panel. And what was the last thing that fell? It wasn't huge, but it wasn't small. And I get home and okay, I lean over and I reach over. I can't feel it, so I open the door and I look to see if something's gonna. Nothing falls. It actually hit the door panel and went under the seat. It like ricocheted off. I was like, damn, this is crazy.
On the F-350, it drives me crazy because if it's small enough, well, it doesn't have to be really that small, but it'll fall into the pocket of the door.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I never hear it because of other stuff in the door.
Right.
So, and like I said, if I'm not paying 100% attention on everything, because I've had that like with bills or they slide off and they fall into that pocket.
Right. Gone. Speaking of losing things, again, I saw Matt Michael showed last week a kit that was like all spares. It was like 10s, 8s, 15s, impacts, and so that was a pretty good idea. I'm like, that's a great idea.
That was I've already gone through 2 of those, 3 of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just leave them. I leave them up by my by the computer.
Right.
They had Torx. They had 10s, 8s.
I think there's a 15 in there too. A couple 15.
Yeah, the 15, and they had Torx, tamper-proof Torx. I don't know if they had any Allens in there or inverted Torx.
It looked like a pretty comprehensive, nice little set.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because they had that at our expo, and I honestly believe that when they put that kit together, it was for us distributors, not really resell. I mean, you could resell it to somebody, but I think it was for us, like I said, to put by your register, and somebody looked down and said, "Oh, I need a T30 or I need a 10 or whatever."
Yeah, it's like having penny candies in a little thing.
Yeah, and but we had a lot of guys. They bought a whole bunch of them and walked around, and people would say, "Well, what am I supposed to do with 15? What am I going to do with 530s and 1040s or whatever?" And it's. I think that's that's the communications that we have. I think originally somebody said this would be a great idea, and it just kind of got lost in the trance.
What does that kit sell for?
Normally it's close to $400.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Now I could see now maybe if a couple guys in the shop went together on that and said, let's pool our money. Yeah. But man, you got to lose a lot of tools to justify that. That's
or basic. Like I said, you look at like a body shop guy.
Yeah.
Where they're they're constantly losing a T40 or a T30. A lot of your new brake rotor bolts, that holds the brake rotors on, are T40s, and they break them. Instead, like the Phillips drive bits.
Right.
So I can see where somebody might, have 2 or 3 of them in their box. But like I said, I personally believe that was really designed for us to sell individually instead of outright.
I would agree. And then, like my set of Torx went to T40, I guess. And the first time they gave me what was it? It was an Audi, and it was like T50. I was like, you bastards! It's like, you bastards!
Yeah.
When's it going to end? And then one of the Audis, I think it was the A6 I posted this. It was I guess it was an 8mm hex Allen. And I put it in the back through the hole, and I can't find the female end of the bolt. It just my driver wasn't lining up. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I called Derek over and said, listen, get your head in there, because he's small. He gets his head in there with the light. He goes, no, that's what's in there. That's a hex. I was like, okay, so it's not a Torx. I thought it was a hex. What it was is that the depth of the bolt was just deeper than the amount of hex that came out of my driver.
Right.
And luckily, I had one that had a pin in it, so I was able to take the pin out and insert it. I put it in first, and then put the socket end back over.
Yeah.
I was like, there's probably a special tool for this now for working on Audis. So I'm like,
yeah.
Damn
A
German.
lot of times you gotta take a pick and run around in there, because you gotta get all the little dirt or like a buildup, because you don't have a lot of room for that to sit in there.
Right.
And you gotta get it in. Yeah, I think they're up to like I want to say, I think you can. It's all the way up to like a T80 now.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah, that's crazy, because and I think on a newer Volkswagen, the drain plug for the oil is something like a tamper-proof T70 or something. They don't want you touch. They don't.
They don't want you draining the oil?
Well, they want you to take it back to the dealer or something.
That was the funniest thing. We're working on the Jetta. They have it as a rental car. This was about 2 years ago. And,
plastic oil pans?
I couldn't get the bolt. It was a Torx. I couldn't get the Torx bolt out of the drain bolt out. So I had, Mike there, and I said, listen, I said, here, you try it. I gave him a ratchet, and he's hitting the ratchet. He's like, nah. I said, okay. So I got my hand driver, and I hit it a couple times with the hammer. And I said, okay, here, you hit it. I said, because and I said, you're going to have to whack. And he whacks it, and of course, boom, right into the oil pan. I'm like, that's what I was waiting for. So I said, okay, but Dorman had a pan for the car that was like $35 or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
And it didn't come with a drain bolt. You had to buy the bolt separate of all things. But when I pulled the pan down, it was an easy pan to take off.
Yeah.
I had the bolt with the metal bung, and it was only like tack welded in like 2 spots, like 12 and 6. Like, how ridiculous is that?
So that was a metal pan?
It was a metal pan, yeah.
Oh yeah, because they from the factory they came with a plastic oil pan.
Oh, so it maybe changed already.
Yeah, and actually the drain plug on the plastic ones is very similar to like the oil cap on a GM, where it's grooved cut, so you only spin a quarter turn and the plug comes out.
Right.
A lot of guys will go in there and they put their impact on it, and they spin it. Of course, they pull the plastic tabs off of it, and it's
right. I tell you, all the stuff
Germans, man,
it's ridiculous. All the stuff that you have to know.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, I used to get mad at when I would have a doctor as a patient, as his car, because he would, if he had a problem, he would say, well, don't you know what you're doing? Or don't you? And I was like, whoa. Look, since the beginning of time, you've only had 2 bodies to learn, a male and a female.
Right.
I have to learn over 40 years, every 3 years, some freaking change.
Yeah.
And you can't remember it all. And I don't have malpractice insurance like you do. Only 2 bodies.
Exactly.
And shut them up real quick.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Very true. It's very
I
true.
used to get so mad when they would start yelling, screaming at you, and act. I was like, "Whoa, time out, buddy."
That's like I was bitching to a couple of the guys at the shop. I said, the big problem here is there's no information. I have to get my own information. So I got to go, get old dated files, or I'm looking through old or websites, or I'm looking through old manuals. And now the worst thing is I'm finding inconsistent information, which on that Buick, I'm like, you're fighting a battle before you even do anything.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you supposed to make it an intelligent decision?
Well, like I said, when the last week, when I told you about when I Googled it on YouTube and I saw all that,
right?
I remember vaguely. I had something very similar, and I know it was one of the. I don't know if it was I knew it was a GM. I don't know if it was a Grand Prix or a Regal or whatever, but again, like we were talking about earlier, you would think that, being the same car family or same car line, that stuff should all be pretty much real close. But like I said, you get one option here or something a little different.
Right.
And man, it's a whole different world.
Yeah.
And sometimes in those not owner's manual, but the wiring diagrams, the German ones, you had to be really careful because all of a sudden you would see M303 or something like that. Well, that was an M code. That was something special. That was something different. And you'd spend half a day with your red pencil off on the wrong thing. Not even, and you're like, where the hell is this on the card?
Right.
And then you realize you don't even have it.
Right.
So, like I said, like you said, what you did with Joe is I used to draw each one out on that car. What I did.
I got all my pencils. I
Oh,
even
yeah.
rubber banded them so they wouldn't fall. Whoa, there they go. So I could transport them. But yeah, reds, yellows, blues, greens. I tell you, it's the only way to work with a schematic.
Yeah, like I said, I would Xerox another copy off, and like I said, draw it out or trace it out into my notebook. And
it's like what I was doing at work too. Is I was pulling up, we have plotters, so I was pulling up the diagram, saving it, and I was feeding it to the plotter, and I was making an E-size plot. 24 by 36. It's like that I can see.
Yeah, that's, man. If I could, some of those, some of them that folds out. You get 4 pages, and you're like,
right?
Oh my God,
I know.
And I always like I said, you'd have that one option, and it would say go to page whatever in the book, and you got to flip through 5 or 6 other wire diagrams, and you pull one out, and then it's like just one relay back or something stupid.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Crazy.
I don't know, Ray.
All right.
I got this Impact. I gotta finish putting back together. I dropped the little ball bearing down here on the floor.
Oh no!
And I don't have another one. And like I said,
just go and get your little black Matco screwdriver. That's not it. You know the one. That thing. Anything. That thing will pick up. It'll pick up a manhole cover on you.
Well, it's funny. I don't know if you noticed earlier in the show, I had gotten my magnet here.
Oh, I did see it with something green. Yeah.
I was down here trying to fish around because, man, I gotta find this ball bearing. This thing, I hate when I drop one of those things.
Just, you know what you do? Get up and look behind you.
Yeah, well, I don't have that much behind. I mean, I
better hope it didn't go under there.
I used to have a carpet runner here, and that was always nice because if anything fell, it stayed right there.
Right. You should put one of those back.
Well, the problem is during the summer, the floor sweats so much.
Oh yeah, humidity and all. Yeah.
And the carpet gets kind of slick. I mean, it moves around. So I usually bring it up, and the only time I ever put it down is during the winter time.
You're talking about magnets.
It's not on the cold.
It's funny. My wife, she got me this bracelet. I like it because it's about a half-inch wide. It looks like tire treads all the way around. And the clasp, you just send like a barrel end into a female end, and it kind of clicks in. So a couple days this week at the shop, I take my watch and I take that off. I leave my keys all up in the office. But I was leaving them back by my toolbox on this little table I have there. I noticed this morning I put the thing on. I couldn't click it closed. It was holding off a little. I'm like, what the hell's in there? So I got to work and I looked under the magnifier. When I put it down, there's a magnet in there, like one of those neodymium magnets, and that's how it clicks. It picked up all of the metal shavings off of the table. So I'm in there like with brake clean and a Q-tip and compressed air, blowing it out. I'm like, all right, at least now I know what it is.
Yeah, that's funny. You're lucky you caught that instead of their clip and then falling off or
right.
Or
well, I saw already because it didn't go all the way home. It stayed off like about 3/16 of an inch. I'm like, nah, I've never done that before. Something's wrong. Something's in there. Something's metal shavings.
Yeah, that was funny. I had the one time I had on the trigger valve assembly. There's a little C clip down here that holds it.
Right.
I thought I popped it in, but it popped in and fell. And I realized that the clip wasn't there. Looked around forever, and it had fallen down and fallen in between my shoe and my sock.
Oh, wow.
And, I was like, luckily I took my shoes off once I got upstairs by the front door, and I saw it come out, because if I would have been if I had gone to bed and done it in the dark, I would have never found, I would have never known,
Back in the 70s, I worked at a place called Dairy Barn, and it was a drive-through, and we sold milk and eggs and bread and ice cream and whatever. So you'd serve the people on both sides, and back then were the days of like platform shoes and bell bottoms with cuffs on the bottom, like an inch cuff. So I used to wear those, and I'd come home at night and there'd be like change in there and like bottle caps and everything that fell in the cuffs, the cuffs of the pants. It was like, no wonder my pants are like 5 pounds more.
You're lucky they didn't catch on fire with a cigarette butt or something.
I know. You could have put like wrenches in there and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Those were the days.
The good old days, right, Ray?
Yeah, that's right. The good old days is right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
All right, Ray. Well, it was great talking to you.
Always, Brian.
My week, man. It's been a tough.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my shit together, and man, I tell you.
I hope things turn around for you very, very soon.
Yeah, it will. It's just like I said. Like Lewis said, you come home, and I want to work, on the truck. You try to get that back up and running, and by the time you get home, and
did you get all the parts? You have all the parts for it?
Yeah, I got all the parts. I got it. It's almost all the way apart. I'm having on the back for the turbo. The back pipe coming up from the turbo has these spring clamps that hold it on.
Yeah.
There's like a hook.
I know the clamp.
Pipe up there.
You should replace those.
Yeah, mine's never been off. So
I had to take those off on tow truck. What a pain in the ass.
Well, the problem is I finally got the the clamp off, and to get the pipe to pop off, the guys at the dealership told me the easiest way is to take the back 2 bolts out on the exhaust manifold to give that play.
Right.
Well, they've never been out, so I don't want. And it's not like it's right here. It's not here. It's in the back.
Yeah, I got you.
And I don't want to open that can of worms. So
yeah,
it's been a little bit of spray, a little bit of muscle, a little spray.
You need an inductor. You got to use the inductor.
Yeah, I just saw I got one in. I got one in on Monday, and I said, "Oh, I'll use it this weekend." Well, I
Yeah.
sold that Wednesday. So then I got another one in on Wednesday night. I got another one in. So I said, "Oh, I'll use this for the weekend," and then I sold that this morning. So
You got to learn to order 2 of everything. So I gotta ask you, that's a big truck, and you're a big guy. But how do you physically get in there and work in that engine compartment? That can't be easy.
well, I have a
The side step for the wheel.
well, no, I have that, and I also have a platform, like
Oh yeah,
one of those
Diving board?
aluminum ladder platforms,
right.
and that works really good. I do have, and I've never used it, or I haven't put it together, but I do have one of those over the hood creepers.
Yeah, the diving board thing. I call
Yeah.
it. Right.
And the only problem that I have, the only reason why I don't have any place to store it once I put it together. If
Yeah.
it's in the box, unless I want to take it all back apart and try to put it back in the box,
Right.
really no place to, that's, I bought it. It was one of those things that I bought because I said, "Oh, this would be really nice."
Right.
And once I got it and realized, it's like, where am I going to put it?
Yeah.
So
Every day it's one thing, but yeah.
yeah. And then I said, well, and of course it's like that. It's kind of like the engine stand. I've got 2 engine stands. I got to for me to put the motor on it, I got to put them back together.
Right.
I take it apart to have the room.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a pain.
Sure.
So you just got to be careful and not break that radiator.
Yeah.
They got that stupid little water return path, and everybody snaps them working on them. So
yeah.
So.
All right, we'll have an easy week this week. Next week.
I hope.
All righty.
You take it easy, be safe, stay cool.
Oh, I will. I got the pool for that. So I guess we'll do our official Playing in Traffic. Lewis Lee, Ray Guarino, Matt Man Bryan. No Chassis John tonight. He's in cool mountain air of Colorado.
Yeah.
Having fun. So we'll.
He likes it out there.
Yeah, we'll find out next week.
A city boy lost in the country.
Well, like I said, he sent me a picture of this pizzeria, and he said the guy that owns the pizzeria is from the same hometown that he was from here on Long Island. He goes, "What are the chances of that?" I was like, "Wow, that's pretty wild."
You guys are all over the place. You guys just can't stay up north,
Like a bad virus everywhere. Right. We scattered to the wind.
Don't worry about COVID-19. We're worried about you New York guys, man.
Exactly. That's all right. We bring good New York money with us, though, so that's good. We bring our cash with us, so
yeah,
we like to spend it. So that's a good thing. All right, Brian.